Hi chat. Hello. Welcome to stream. I know it said in one Musume earlier. I forgot to change it. I forgot to change it before I started stream, but we are continuing Ghost of Alcantra again. Let me see. I'm forgetting how far we are. Let me think. I know we just got to the reveal, so I don't know personally how much there is left. I know there's probably a fuck ton left. But yeah. So we're doing that. And then this week is exciting. Because we got some exciting shit that's gonna be happening. So look out for those promo posts this week on my Blue Sky and my Discord. Because it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay. If I need to fix anything with my mic or anything like that, please tell me, either in chat or like post stream on the VODs, because I will not know unless you tell me, basically. But let me go ahead and get started unloading this up real quick. Let's see that. Here we go. All right. Okay. And now I have to fix this because it's very squished from what we did with Musume last week. There we go. Okay. Now we can do it. I rushed back to Detective Storm's home, ignoring the wonderful evening air, choosing instead to bask in my anxieties. I was a hypocrite. I was like, the moon? Fuck that. I needed someone. I was running to Detective Storm, hoping that she might say something, anything to reassure me. What did I want her to say? That I wasn't crazy? That I was a good person? I doubted either of those things were true. Unfortunately, my ability to communicate had degraded quite a bit after my meeting with Elaine Weatherton. I wasn't 5 seconds into Detective Storm's house before I was yelling at her while she lounged on the couch reading a newspaper. What's going on? What's going on with me? With these murders? With this whole town? She looked up at me, irritated, and put her newspaper down. Can't a gal get any time to herself these days? Finally get back from work, start to relax, and then you start throwing another fit. Well, your Elaine Weatherton did her best to convince me I'm nuts. I think it's fair for me to throw a fit. She just gave a big sigh, resigning herself to dealing with me. I guess I just better get used to it. That made me feel bad, but I explained what Elaine Weatherton had told me. I told her how I was gradually starting to remember things, the Ghost of Alcantra story Elaine Weatherton had told me, and the weird stuff about the Thorns. Do you know who the Thorns are? Well, no is a strong word. But yes, I've heard of the Thorns used to be quite the influence in Alcantra. There was another. Maybe I wasn't crazy. Though Elaine Weatherton did say Detective Storm would know if I let her. The hell was that supposed to mean? But Elaine told me, listen, just calm down, Victor. I can probably explain this one. I let Elaine know ahead of time you were planning on coming. She probably heard the rumors about you from other townsfolk and wanted to mess with you. The people here can have a nasty mean streak. But do you really think it's possible that the whole town left and a whole new group of people came? Of course not. Well, there you go. Why would she mess with me like that? And how come somebody didn't remember the Thorns? She messed with you because people are frightened of you. A visitor getting amnesia right as a murder happens? The town always has been superstitious, but everyone's especially on edge now. As for the Thorns, you've probably just got unlucky with the people you asked. I suspect if you asked again, you get luckier. And the story of the Ghost of Alcantra? Oh, that one's probably true. That is what people have told me. I knew it sounded like a paranoid lunatic, and I was grateful that Detective Storm was so patient in dealing with me. She was being motherly, as weird as it sounded. She only adopted her mocking self when she knew it could handle it. Otherwise, she'd try to keep me from falling apart. Then, the Thorns. Do you know what happened to them? She shook her head. Sorry, just knew that they used to be the bosses around here. They were long gone by the time I got here. Nobody told me anything, and I never asked. I never worry about the past. What kind of detective was she? It seemed straight up incompetent to not know about the past leaders of this town. I must have looked disappointed because Detective Storm immediately tried to comfort me. Sorry, Victor. Was hoping Elaine could clear things up for you. Seems like she just rattled you even more. No, it's not your fault. Thanks for listening. It's just, I thought I was going crazy. Detective Storm patted the other end of the couch, gesturing for me to sit down. We're all a little crazy, and you've got a much better excuse than most. Just chill out for now. Do what all the sensible people do. Sleep in, eat chips, and watch movies. Is that medically sound advice? Hell if I know. I laughed. Yeah, that does sound better than what I've been doing. I should probably just avoid the townsfolk. But didn't you want me to help with the investigation? Aren't I supposed to be your key or whatever? I still think that. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. But we can save that for later. Don't want to be breaking any news to you while you're fragile like this. Fragile? I guess that's true. Anything that implicated myself in previous crimes made me feel like I was going to break, despite my previous bravado about facing who I was. Fair. Be honest with me. Are you just telling me things I want to hear? To my surprise, she nodded. I sure am. Can't have my key investigative piece falling apart. I laughed again. I was alone, but perhaps Detective Storm could be considered an ally. She wanted to use me, but that had its benefits. She wouldn't discard me until I had fulfilled my purpose. She gestured at a couple of VHS tapes. Now, how about we hold off detective talk until after you've calmed down some? Sure. You know, I haven't watched a movie since losing my memories. Just watched some crappy TV shows. Figures. What were we watching? I was planning on watching The Crucible since it's pretty new, but I'm guessing you're not going to want to watch Witch Hunting right now. The Crucible? Oh shit. Wait. It was a movie? Oh, it was? I didn't know they made a movie out of that book. I only ever read the book in high school, dude. I didn't know they made a book out of it. Good for them. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, bring it on. I can handle it. Surely I can handle the crucible. My situation wasn't anything like the Salem witch trials. We ended up watching a movie that evening. Detective Storm made for an interesting movie partner. She talked throughout the whole thing and criticized the investigative process of the characters. What fucking dumbasses. That's one of the major points of the story. It's supposed to show mom. Shut up, Victor. Complaining is my favorite part. It turned out to be a relaxing experience. I could only laugh as Detective Storm shouted at Elizabeth to dump his bum ass while thinking that my situation wasn't so bad. Sure, I didn't have any memories about myself, but at least the extent of my witch hunt so far was petty meanness. It could have been worse. The movie ended, and that must have indicated something for Detective Storm, because she immediately stopped complaining about the characters, as if a switch had been flipped. The mood shifted. Detective Storm didn't say anything, and she put the VHS tape back in its case. Suddenly, it felt like she was all business. We're also on ads. If you want to skip the ads, feel free to sub to the channel. That'd be very poggers. Hard to clear your name as an amnesiac, huh, Victor? I saw where she was going with this. Yes, it would be hard for me to confess to anything without remembering what I was confessing to. She nodded. Not like John Proctor's situation, then. Definitely not like John Proctor. But, Victor, there was something similar between you and John Proctor. There's something your doctor, the townspeople, Lane Weatherden, and myself were all right about. You can't run away from yourself. This again. I knew that, but what do they want me to do about it? Yes, I know my amnesia is probably self-induced, but it's not like I could just force myself to remember. I know it would benefit everyone if I could remember who it was and what I did and how I'm involved in all this, but I can't just make that happen. Detective Storm nodded again. I know you can't just make it happen. I just wanted to remind you. Elaine is right about this. I'm right about this. There's no prison more secure, more reliable than one's own mind. You'll face consequences eventually, but none will be worse than having to live with your own judgment. I saw through her. This was a moralizing version of telling me that I better start remembering things. Yeah, I get it. Strange how everyone seems to be an expert on my amnesia. She chuckled cheerfully. Great. With that crap out of the way, I've got something I wanted to ask you. How do you think the next murder is going to be committed? Better yet, do you know who's going to die? Where did that come from? How would I know? And how do you know there's going to be another murder? Oh, I don't believe in ghosts, but some people do. Our murderer definitely believes in a good ghost story. You've heard the Ghost of Alcantra legend, right? There will be 2 more murders. Do you have evidence for that? Yes, but I'm not allowed to share that with you. Of course you're not. She was so secretive about some things with me. How was I supposed to help her then? Sometimes her behavior seemed so contradictory to her goals. She talked about how she didn't pay attention to legends about the supernatural, and then she says the murders must be based on them. What was up with her? You see, Victor, I'll be straight with you. I wouldn't care about you getting your memories back if I didn't think those memories of yours would be very helpful for me. I know that. Good. Now why would I think you might know who's going to die and how? Well, interestingly enough, this little envelope was dropped off at the police station today. I want you to read it. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small little envelope. It didn't have an address on it, so someone must have dropped it off themselves. I grabbed the envelope from her. I was wary. The last couple of messages she wanted me to see all implicated me being involved in some sin. I'm guessing this was the same. To my relief, the message was far more vague. It went like this. To Scarlet Storm. He'll know. I'll know what? I'll know what you did last summer? Like, what the fuck are we saying here? What a waste of paper and an envelope. I handed it back to Detective Storm. I hate to tell you this, but I don't remember what I'm supposed to know. Plus, he'll could refer to anyone. Oh, I doubt that, Victor. I doubt it too, but I had to point that out. In any case, I don't know what the message is talking about or why they would bother to send it. See, that's the really interesting thing, Victor. She had that mad gleam in her eye. It was scary how she could be so comforting and nurturing one minute, then so provocative the next. Whoever is sending these messages, and I suspect it's the murderer, really wants you to remember what you've forgotten. Which is funny, because presumably, if you remember, you could tell us who the murderer is. I don't know who sent this or why they would want me to remember what I've forgotten. It definitely struck me as weird. It reminded me of that message left in my wallet. Can amnesia be predicted? Detective Storm burst out laughing. You mean that thing with your wallet? Yeah, it's crazy to think they could have predicted I'd get amnesia, but why would they want me to remember then? It seems like everyone wants you to remember, Victor. She walked past me and patted me on the back. I won't push you too hard now, but let me know if you do know anything. Remember, your amnesia is probably self-caused. Think about that. She walked past me to the hallway. Is it cut off? Yes, it is. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Yay! There we go. Much better. She walked past me into the hallway, presumably getting ready to go to bed. I couldn't help shake the feeling that she already knew something about me. That everyone did. It was crazy to think that everyone in this town was playing some sort of sick joke on me, but what would be the purpose in that? My amnesia is self-caused. Was she implying that I set up this whole thing? That's ridiculous. You can't just give yourself amnesia. Shaking my head at that stupid thought, I headed to bed myself. The next couple of weeks, I decided to rebel and take Detective Storm's advice of not doing anything. We mostly ignored each other when we were in each other's presence. It was a dry couple of weeks. I lazed around her place and went through her VHS collection. She didn't judge me for doing so. Turns out she didn't need to. She was right. You can't run away from yourself. My subconscious must have been berating me for my lack of effort in trying to remember things because I ended up having another nightmare. Uh-oh. Not again. Uh-oh. Like in my first nightmare, I was surrounded by darkness. Same lack of ceilings and walls, the same all-encompassing darkness. And once again, there was a singular point of illumination. In that one spot of light, instead of there being a sacrificial altar, there lay a coffin about 50 meters in point from where I stood. I immediately turned around and headed in the opposite direction. I was not going to make the same mistake as last time. Nothing good could come from me going anywhere near that coffin. I would have to wake up eventually. Maybe I could avoid whatever this nightmare had in store for me. Could I at least run away from my dreams? My efforts were in vain. A few steps in the opposite direction, and the coffin lay in front of me once again. I changed directions, and again, the coffin stood before me. There was no sense of direction, geography, or navigation in the realm of dreams. Physics couldn't save me here. Wherever I went, there the coffin was. Not even in my dreams could I run away. I tried staying put. If I didn't move, I would never reach the coffin. But the moment I did that, the coffin began getting closer to me. It didn't move itself. It just gradually began to appear closer and closer to me. Every time I blinked and looked, it was another foot closer to me. I got the message. I resigned myself to my fate. I began making my way slowly towards the coffin. As I did so, a path illuminated itself in front of me. The world of darkness gradually took on form. I was in a church. At the front of the church, right by the altar, sat the coffin. I heard that the composer, Sergei Rachmaninoff, composed his most famous prelude from a nightmare he had. In the nightmare, he found himself in a church with a coffin inside it. When he looked into the coffin, he found himself in it. That would be a best-case scenario for me. I at least could be prepared for that outcome. My footsteps rang out, disturbing this peace of this place of worship. My dread grew with each footstep. When my last foot struck the ground, I remembered the ritual torture I had inflicted upon that poor woman in my previous nightmare. With an echo from my right, I remembered the messages that had been left for me. How much more of this could I take? I finally reached the coffin. The thought of the most horrible possibilities I could lay within to prepare myself, and with some effort, removed the lid of the coffin. I was first greeted by the stench, the smell of something rotting. Then I saw the wreckage that lay within that coffin. Oh shit. It was the remains of a body, remains being an extremely generous interpretation. The body lay broken and mutilated to so many pieces that you couldn't tell what was torso and what was limb. Despite that, I was relieved. This lay well within the horrors I had prepared myself for. Then the remains spoke. Hello. I gave a shout of shock. How can anyone be alive in that state? Oh, I'm already dead, don't worry. You could read minds? Only yours. I had no idea where the voice was coming from, since I couldn't see where the head or mouth was. I was speaking to a zombie. I'm not a zombie, I'm a ghost. A ghost? Yes, I know you're looking for a ghost, but I'm sorry, I'm not the ghost you're looking for. Without any effort on my part, the lid returned itself onto the top of the coffin, shutting me off from the mutilated remains I had briefly spoken to. The church scene vanished, and I was back in the endless darkness. Once again, in the distance, there was a coffin. It was simply illuminated like the one I had just opened. I knew running away or staying put was futile. I made my way towards this new coffin. Just as it had last time, the darkness changed shape into a church setting. My footsteps grew more frantic. How many more corpses was I going to have to see? God damn it. Fuck. Growing impatient, I rushed to the coffin and threw off the cover. There was no mangled body to greet me. This body was normal. Just a middle-aged woman who looked like she was resting peacefully. Believed that this wasn't frightening, I jokingly said out loud, "Are you the ghost I'm looking for?" The corpse's hand suddenly shot out and grabbed my wrist. I let out a yell, and the corpse opened her eyes. Her eyes burned far too brightly for someone who was supposed to be dead. "Sorry, I will become a ghost soon, but I won't be the ghost you're looking for." She pointed her hand past the altar, and the church scene disappeared. In the distance, I could see 2 more coffins. I guess I had to go through this 2 more times. "Yes, but not now. You'll have to deal with those later." I guess she could read my mind too. Are you dead?" "I will be soon." "How do you know that?" "How do I know that? Because you know it, of course." "I know it." "Yes, this has all happened before. You should know the details. You made it all happen." "What did I do?" She ignored me. She pointed her hand behind me from where I'd originally come running. "You remember her death, don't you? Don't feel bad about that one. You couldn't do much about it." "Her death? You mean the recent murder?" "That's right. She was brutally mutilated. That person in the first coffin must have been the first victim. Then this person, she said she was going to die soon. And that means that..." I couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't want to say it. "That's right. I will be the next victim." "Who are you? I can help you. Tell me your name, where you live. I'm staying with a detective. We can protect you." "There's nothing you can do for me now. You know that better than anyone." "What do you mean? You haven't died yet. We can still stop this." No, you can't." I noticed she said you and not we. She looked at me sadly, but her grip around my wrist grew even tighter. "Even by this point, you could have done something to stop this, but you didn't. You know better than anyone that I will die. It is already far too late." "That can't be true. Please, just tell me your name." "My name will do you no good, nor is it very important in this story. Only one name means anything to you. Like I said, I'm not the ghost you're looking for." I felt something in my other hand, the one not being held by her wrist. It was a small pistol. Oh no, I had been through this before. I was a killer in my last nightmare, too. The cold steel of the gun grew heavy as I realized I was to be this woman's executioner. I looked at the future ghost in a panic. You know how I will die, right? You know how I will die, right?" "Shot the gun." "That's right. Now where am I shot?" "How would I know?" "Of course you know." She was right. As I held the gun, it came back to me, as if I had done this before. "In the heart. Just one shot. It was quick and easy. You probably didn't suffer at all." How did I know that? I had no idea and I didn't want to know. She gave me a kind smile. "That's right. I won't suffer at all. Now then, if you please." I looked at the gun in my hands. Like in my first nightmare, I knew the woman in front of me couldn't be alive. It just wasn't right. It wasn't how things were. For better or for worse, I needed to take responsibility for what had been done. I raised the gun up. "I'm sorry. Good luck finding your ghost." Damn! I pulled the trigger. The bullet nestled itself into her heart, finding its home. She died instantly, a small smile on her face. I dropped the pistol and the lid covered the coffin on its own, just like the previous coffin. I looked towards the next ones, but this scene had disappeared. All I saw was the wall of the bedroom Detective Storm had let me borrow. I didn't throw up this time, but I didn't get any sleep either. I stayed awake the rest of the night trying to decipher my nightmare, wallowing deeper and deeper into my growing insanity. We're back in the 80s. I love the 80s. I was becoming a groaning insomniac. I couldn't sleep after my meeting with Alexandra. Giving up on rest, I grabbed a notebook near my bedside and headed over to my desk. I wanted to work through my thoughts. Could Alexandra be lying to me? I didn't think she was. Everything she told me fit nicely with reality, and I knew her well enough that I think I could tell if she was lying. Well, I thought I did anyway. If she was lying, she was the most gifted actress on the planet. That didn't stop me from worrying. I tried making a list of things that bothered me. That way, when I met with Alexandra tomorrow, I would know what I wanted to talk about. She said she would answer my questions after all. Here was my list. 1. Why did your father have a change of heart? Why are you so certain that Vlad killed Marina Radic by himself? Do you know about Marina Radek's tie to your family? Why do you think Yenna Thorne isn't your mother? If Yenna Thorne isn't your mother, do you know who is? What are your father's future plans regarding you, and how does Vlad feel about it? Of course, the most obvious question was whether she was a part of the murder, but I didn't want to see that question in writing. I really doubted she had anything to do with the death of Marina Radek, but I still had to be careful. What had once been just a blossoming summer friendship that flirted with being a blossoming summer romance suddenly had much more at stake. I looked over my list, put down my notebook, and headed back to bed, knowing that full well sleep wasn't coming to me anytime soon. I closed my eyes, hoping that tomorrow would bring me some clarity. If it didn't, I had to think of how I was going to respond to my mother berating me about fumbling another chance to produce grandchildren for her. I experienced deja vu the following morning as I descended down the stairs. I could hear strained whispering coming from the kitchen. My family was discussing something and didn't want me to hear. Last time this happened, bad news had followed. My heart sank. I remembered Alexandra's deduction, how she thought the killer wasn't done. This time I didn't hide at the bottom of the stairs. I walked into the kitchen and all the adults all shut up as I entered. My suspicions confirmed, I made myself a cup of coffee. So what happened? There was an expectant pause as my parents and Uncle Kyle looked at each other. There was another murder. I knew it. Right after Alexandra had told me about her family and right before my follow-up with her. The timing couldn't have been any worse. She couldn't have planned this, could she? I promised Alexandra I wouldn't tell anyone what she told me. I had to reconsider that promise now. Who died? Uncle Kyle grimaced. Beryl Johnson. One of the prime suspects and someone I seen give a talk recently. That really only left the Thorns now as suspects. How did she die? Shot in the chest, probably by a small pistol. Killer broke in this time, shot the door handle. No witnesses? Nope, it wouldn't be. Beryl Johnson lived way outside of town. No neighbors within miles. That wasn't uncommon around here. Outside of town, it was mostly woods and farmland. There were lots of people who lived out there, and many of them didn't have neighbors. Of course, we have to consider the possibility that the murder of Marina Radek and the murder of Beryl Johnson weren't done by the same person or persons, but that's unlikely. So does that just leave the Thorns as the main suspects? Well, I want to say just leave, but yes. They were already the prime suspects, and they will continue to be our main investigative focus. Uncle Kyle frowned. But they're almost too suspicious now. What do you mean? The Thorns have to know Beryl Johnson's death and make them obviously suspicious given the tourism proposal. Do they care about the tourism proposal enough to kill Beryl Johnson? I somehow doubt that. True, based on Alexandra, it was hard to imagine the Thorns doing something that stupid. Would they do something dumb like making themselves look like the obvious culprits? My dad spoke up. Couldn't they just think they're powerful enough to get away with what they want? Maybe. It'd be terrifying if that were the case, though. Do you think someone might be framing the Thorns? I consider that possibility. That's enough, Kyle. Howard. We don't need to talk about the details. That's for Kyle to figure out later. Yes, ma'am. Uncle Kyle went back to his coffee, and my dad went back to his food. I thought about Beryl Johnson's death. What could be the possible motive? Marina Radek may have had a motive given the affair, but she was dead. That left the flimsy idea that the Thorns killed her because of the tourism proposal, which sounded unlikely. There had to be some connection between Marina's death and Beryl Johnson, so what was it? Uncle Kyle finished his coffee and cracked his knuckles. Make no mistake, even if the Thorns are murderers, they're involved somehow. Just a matter of getting those secrets from them. I was hiding one of those secrets now. I looked down at the table feeling guilty. I don't have time to do my usual recovery. I gotta get going. He wished us a good day and was out the door. I didn't envy him, but I didn't envy myself either. My meeting with Alexandra wasn't for a few hours, but I still had to deal with the mental stack of deciding whether or not I should tell Uncle Kyle about Alexandra. Son, did you have any plans for today? Yeah, I made some plans with Alexandra. We were going to try to make up from a fight. Which was sort of true. My father nodded while my mother looked at me in horror. Well, your mother and I talked about it, and we realized that it's unrealistic to just keep you locked up here. Well, for our family it would be, for the Thorns it wouldn't. We'd like to make a compromise with you. We know it's unlikely anything would ever happen to you, but we feel better if you just didn't stay out late anymore. Be back before the sun sets and we won't give you any grief. I thought that was fair. Alexandra and I mostly met during the day anyway. Okay, Dad, I can do that. Thanks for not keeping me cooped up here. Don't thank him. Don't thank him. You better be thanking me the way he was going on about how dangerous this place is now. He nodded. Yep, I feel better if we all just sat down in the corner terrified, but I guess not everyone feels this way. He moved to the couch to prove his point by staring in terror at the wall. Hey Mom, does Uncle Kyle worry about us because we're related to him? I'm sure he worries a little, honey. That's one of his greatest strengths. He's always worrying. She came down to the table and sat down next to me. Are you worried? Not about getting killed, but a lot of other things. Maybe a little. Oh, that's natural. Your father and I are very worried too. Don't worry, it's okay to worry. As long as you keep your head on straight, you'll be alright. My dad grunted assent from the couch. I appreciated the attempts at comfort. Don't you worry. If you're murdered, your father and I will avenge you. Our wrath will not be contained. Which made me laugh. Glad to hear it, Mom, but that's not worth going to jail for. She shook her head. Oh, I don't know. It might be. She got up and ruffled my hair. Be safe and don't do anything stupid. You may be 17 now, but you'll always be our little boy. We can't stop you from living your life, but we have to worry anyway. Don't do anything stupid, huh? I wonder what the stupid option was in my case. I won't do anything stupid, Mom. Don't worry. I gave her a thumbs up and went upstairs to contemplate what I should do given that someone had been murdered and I now had an obligation to not do something stupid. When I returned to my room, I grabbed my notebook and looked over my questions list again. There we go. Oh my god. That was a good stretch. That was a very nice stretch right there. Oh my goodness. What would be the non-stupid thing to do? I was definitely the wrong person to ask, but I had a heart and a brain. I might as well use both of them. There were two relevant facts. Alexandra was a member of the Thorne family and Beryl Johnson was murdered. There were two choices that could be made. I could tell Uncle Kyle what Alexandra had told me, or I could keep my promise to Alexandra and tell no one. What would be gained by telling Uncle Kyle that Alexandra was a Thorne? The best case scenario was that the information helped him arrest a murder. How likely was that to happen? Probably pretty unlikely. If she was a part of the murder, she wasn't going to get interviewed by him because the Thornes wouldn't allow Uncle Kyle to get an interview. Even if he did get an interview, she wasn't going to tell him anything. If she wasn't a part of the murders, then her testimony alone wasn't going to get Vlad or Edgar arrested just because of how powerful they were. Why would Alexandra ask me to keep her identity secret, and what was to be gained from keeping my promise? If her conjectures were correct, both her father and brother were murderers. Her father having killed his wife, and her brother having killed Marina Raddick and Beryl Johnson. And her brother, bleh. The most probable reason she wanted her identity kept a secret was that she'd be in danger if it was found out. It was a legitimate possibility that if the news was to get out, they might try to kill Alexandra to keep it a secret. Additionally, there was my own safety to consider. Alexandra did say she was putting us both in danger by telling me her identity. That was what my brain said. What did my heart say? From the beginning, my heart had said the same thing. I believed Alexandra was telling the truth, and if so, that she was putting herself out there to make her first true friend. She displayed vulnerability to a guy she had known for 2 weeks so that our relationship wasn't built on falsehoods. She had asked for that guy to keep a promise. What kind of asshole would I be if I broke that promise? I was the one who believed that people were good for each other, so that we should learn each other's stories. I introduced Alexandra to this world, and I couldn't betray her trust. I laughed to myself. It really was that simple. I could rationalize all I want, but there had only ever been one option for me. All that contemplation about likelihoods and possibilities, and the swing factor for me was that I couldn't possibly break her heart. I walked over to my mirror and took a look at myself. The guy smiling back didn't seem like such a bad guy. I wanted that to be true. I gave a smile and a nod to my reflection and began to head out. All that being said, there were still things I wanted to confirm, and I knew the place to get answers. In middle school social science class, we had a guest come in and give a talk about some of the local history of Alcantra. Her name was Lillian Weatherton. She was a professor at the local university here. She wasn't that old, in her 50s, I think, but she had sort of earned herself the title of town elder because of her knowledge about the history and stories of Alcantra. It wasn't even noon yet. I still had plenty of time before my meeting with Alexandra, and I could pay a visit to this town elder. Alexandra told me a lot about the Thorne family, and I could probably confirm what she said with Miss Weatherton's knowledge. If Miss Weatherton got suspicious, I could just play dumb. I'm pretty good at playing dumb because I am dumb. I hopped down the stairs and was out the door. Elder Weatherton lived on the outskirts of town to the east, so I had quite a ways to go. I grabbed my bike and headed over. After 15 minutes, I pulled to the neighborhood she lived in. The place stood out because of all the Halloween ornaments and decorations. Did she ever put them away? I guess every day is Halloween if you believe hard enough. It certainly gave the place a witchy feel to it. A little nervous now, I went over and knocked on the door. From what I remembered of her in middle school, she seemed nice, but everyone is nice around the teachers. It's the residual PTSD from being scared of being in trouble. Who knows what she'd be like in her natural element? Maybe she turned me into a lizard. The door opened and Elder Weatherton poked her head out. Yes, you're Nick Fox, right? Anything I could do for you? It looked like she wasn't going to cast spells on me. Hi, Miss Weatherton. Sorry to come unannounced. Hope I'm not bothering you. Actually, I stopped by because I was wondering if you could tell me about Alcantra and the Thorns. I'm interested in, history. Which wasn't true at all. I expected some suspicion, but her eyes brightened up. Of course. Happy to see young people interested in Alcantra's history. Come in. You know, I've been half expecting your uncle to come by and ask me stuff. Figured he wanted to know all about Alcantra given the investigation. You should make sure to tell your uncle what I tell you. Yes, ma'am, I'd be happy to. She ushered me into the kitchen, and where she insisted on serving me some tea. Her house was filled with books, though the books themselves were scattered all across the house. A real fanatic for sure. She pushed a cup of tea towards me. Now, what would you like to know? How about we start with the original Thorns, Alistair and Alcantra? I figured by starting at the top, I could probably hear if what Alexandra said about the successor rule for the family was true. She nodded her head and launched into the stuff I already knew. But soon she started adding details I didn't know. Well, Alcantra was actually murdered. She and Alistair were attacked and Alistair barely survived. Of course, you already know the rest of that story. Alistair attributed his survival to Alcantra convincing him to live on the edge of the afterlife. He survived and renamed the town after her, and then established a summer festival to remember her. I hadn't known Alcantra was murdered. This town had more of a history with murder than I thought. But tragedy wasn't done with Alistair. You see, he had 3 kids with Alcantra, and there was a fight over the succession. Alistair wanted the middle son to take over, and the other sons objected. Alistair kicked the other 2 kids out of the family, and the middle son succeeded him. He then made a rule for the family that the Thorns are only to have 1 kid, so there is a clear line of succession. Not many people know, but there's a public document of intent at City Hall. I don't think many people care. It's not like it's an enforceable rule, but as far as I know, the family has followed it. I nodded, doing my best to act like this was new information. I was relieved that it looked like Alexandra was telling the truth. Elder Weatherton started going on about the other heads and how they transitioned from copper mining to logging, but I wasn't interested in that. I decided I should try to steer the conversation into more helpful angles for myself. Do you know anything about Yenna Thorne? I haven't heard much about her. Yenna Thorne? I can't say too much about her, but she didn't leave the mansion pretty much. When she did, she was downright unsociable. Looked down on everyone. Nobody really liked her, including her husband. Damn. So she was a bitch? Give me a second. Let me answer this text chat. Anyway, okay. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. Why did I stop recording, motherfucker? Okay, well, we're recording now again, but that was really silly. It was an arranged marriage. God damn it! Yenna's family was a big deal from somewhere in Illinois. She and Elgar were never on good terms. I guess Elgar Thorne had some experience locking up women in the mansion. My God. She died a while back, right? Yes, she died in 1969. Her personal doctor said she died of complications from illness. 1969 was the year Alexandra was born. That tracks with what she told me. Now to ask the leading question. Excuse me if this is a rude question, but did anyone ever consider whether or not Elgar murdered his wife? You know, on account of him not liking her very much. I'm guessing it would have been poison based on what the doctor said. I braced myself in case she got mad, but she chuckled. Actually, Mr. Fox, a lot of people did. A lot of people gossiped about it. She had always been rather sickly, so there was no investigation, but it wouldn't have surprised me if Elgar had her poisoned. Her private doctor was paid for by Elgar, so it would have been very easy for him to do it and get away with it. I shouldn't have been relieved by the realistic possibility of someone being murdered, but I was. I was quite certain Alexandra wasn't trying to deceive me. Her story seemed to be reality. Did anyone happen to see if anything was off about Yana beforehand? She paused. I saw her, actually. I didn't notice anything different about her, though she was coughing. That might have been the opportunity Elgar was waiting for, but it wouldn't surprise me if she just died. She always looked like a good flu might finish her off. Okay, no mention of her being pregnant, so Alexandra was probably right that Yenna wasn't her mother. Elgar probably took advantage of her cold to poison her. I guess he really loved the woman he was having an affair with if he wanted to raise their child. Why didn't he just marry Alexandra's mother after Yenna died? Presumably, the reason he killed Yenna was to marry Alexandra's mother. Must have been the same reason he couldn't and had to hide Alexandra to cover up his infidelity. So far, so good. Just one last thing to ask. Marina Radek used to work for the Thorns, right? Any insight on that? Yes, she used to be a maid for them. The Thorns have a lot of staff. The majority of them are born into their positions, family business sort of thing. The Thorns wanted loyalty. Marina was different. She was hired. You could usually see the staff in town from time to time, but Marina was hardly seen during her tenure with the Thorns. She left shortly after Vlad was born. Was it unusual for Miss Radek to leave the Thorns? Did previous staff members ever leave? She thought about it. It wasn't unusual at the time, though she's the only one I can remember that didn't leave town too. Staff left, but usually because they left Alcantra. Marina was the only one I could think of that was born here, went to work for the Thorns, left, and stayed here. But now that you mention it, I can't remember the last time a staff member had left the Thorns since Marina left. That would track with Alexandra's presence in the mansion. Elgar couldn't risk the staff from leaking her existence. Elder Weatherton frowned thoughtfully. I wonder why Marina rarely left the mansion during her time there. That's the suspicious thing. She pointed at me. You tell your uncle to look into why Elgar would want to lock up Marina. Something fishy going on there, I could feel it. She was right that something fishy was going on. Alexandra's theory was that Marina knew something about the family and that she was killed impulsively when Vlad met with her to find out what she knew. But she left shortly after he was born. Perhaps Vlad killed her on behalf of his father. It seemed like Elgar was the one with things to hide. I had gotten what I wanted out of this conversation. I stood up and thanked Elder Weatherton. You bet, Mr. Fox. You can come by any time you want to know anything about Alcantra. I'm the expert around here. I promised her that I would, and then I would tell Uncle Kyle about what she told me. And if you hear any good stories, you let me know about them, Mr. Fox. Well, I think I have a pretty good story, but you'll have to wait to hear it, Miss Elaine Weatherton. The elders' place and my usual meeting place with Alexandra were pretty much at the opposite ends of town. The distance gave me the time I needed to psych myself up. Alexandra decided to trust me, and I was going to trust her in return. I wanted to reassure her that I believed in her. What was the right way to go about this? She was probably nervous about how I'd respond, especially given the news of the second murder. Alexandra's normal behavior included a lot of playful blustering. She acted confident, but a lot of that was a front. Perhaps it was my turn to do a little acting. A little ridiculousness, an excuse to mask my insecurity would convey to her that I knew what she was feeling. Like when she had proposed a deal that allowed us to become friends, it was my turn to provide the excuse for us to be together. Could I play the part of an Alexandra? I could give it a go. I could faintly see her form as I grew closer to our meeting spot. In contrast to her usual upright posture, her body language was downright abysmal, indicating the thoughts weighing her down. I walked up to her and loudly cleared my throat. She turned around, her eyes wide at seeing me. I honestly didn't think you'd come. I tried to give my best, encouraging smile. Showtime. I gave a hearty laugh and then wagged my finger at her. I'm sure you have plenty to say, Princess, but you better let me do the talking first. She gave me a confused look. You granted me time to think about the things you told me yesterday and much thinking I have done. In these passing hours, I came to 3 conclusions. Was this how she acted back then? I think it was overdoing it, but it was too late now. I dramatically put a finger in the air. First, I believe that you told me the truth when you told me that you are Alexandra Thorne, daughter of the Thorne family, and that your woeful and pitiful social skills are attributable to your wretched upbringing. She looked to be stunned by my change in my behavior and the fact that I used multiple words with more than 2 syllables. I was kind of enjoying myself. Second, that the dear Alexandra Thorne that I know could never be involved in any murder. Perhaps the Thorne family is one of the murderers, but at the very least, one Thorne remains free of bloodshed. It seemed like Alexandra didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or smile. I knew I was going to cringe about all this later, but I persevered. And third, that the promise that I made to you yesterday is one that shall be kept eternally. Even the most tempting of bribes and the most horrid of tortures could not pry your secrets from me. She finally laughed. She laughed for a good long while, long enough that I began thinking of what I had said and started to get embarrassed. She stood up to face me. You really are an idiot, you know that? God damn it, the player. Hold on. Okay, it's better. She shook her head playfully. You could break your promise if you're tortured. You have my permission. I scoffed. Like torture could ever stop me from keeping a promise. Your secret is safe with me, Alexandra Thorne. Let me allay your doubts with this. I coughed dramatically, and Alexandra raised an eyebrow. You got a big speech planned, or what? I didn't, but I could try. Yeah, let's hear it. I gave it some thought. How could I combine the big words of an Alexandra Thorne, the stupidity of a Walperton, and the earnestness of a Nick Fox? I could do this. You see, Miss Thorne, as a passerby in your life who brought you into this convoluted and conniving world of social interaction, it is up to me to live up to the expectation you have placed in that world. As one without friends, you seem to be unaware of the norms that govern the rules of friendship. When one makes a promise to a friend, they place a burden on oneself, but that burden is taken willingly. You see, it is the burden of sharing the weight of another person's life. One does not take that burden unless they want to bear that weight. When I made my promise to you, I did so wanting your secrets, your fears, your hopes, and your dreams to be a part of my life. I smiled at her and decided that I had accomplished enough for the act. The phrasing was silly, the language over the top, the tone ridiculous. All so that she knew that my next words, the words I would have started with had I not needed to retreat to embarrassing theatrics to convey all this to her, was genuine. And I want to be a friend, no matter who you are. She looked at me for a long time without saying anything, making me nervous. Did I overdo it? She said softly. You're an idiot, but you sure do know how to sweet-talk a girl. Well, idiocy aside, that wasn't my intention. She gave me a bright smile. What would you call that, then? Thoughtful encouragement? She laughed at that. Who knows what I got myself into accepting your fireworks invitation, but I'm glad it was you who was my first. Phrasing, Alexandra, phrasing. Baby, I know you watching this, baby. I'm glad you were my first. I'm so glad that you were my first. I swear I'm funny. I swear to God I'm funny. Okay, we need to keep going. Oh. Okay. She gave an evil little smirk. What? You are and will continue to be my first for a lot of things, after all. She decided to respond to all those embarrassing things I said by flirting. Who knows what sort of kinky innuendo these closeted rich girls could come up with. I tried to think of something snarky to retort with, but she put me out of my misery. Thank you, Nick. She grabbed my hand and gave it a shake. I really appreciate it. You're welcome. However, embarrassed as I was, I decided to be a paragon mood killer, because I wasn't sure I was ready for the mood that seemed to be approaching, and I pulled out the list of questions I wanted to ask her. But you shouldn't be too trusting yet. I still have a bunch of things to ask you, which I have compiled here. I thrust a piece of paper in her face. She just laughed. And I'll be happy to answer them. After all, you did decide to bear the weight of my secrets, hopes, what else was included? Oh, shut up. Well, you're right. I do have things to answer for you. It's only fair. Thought you wouldn't show up today because of the murder. I know it looks suspicious. It did mess me up a little, but we can discuss that in a bit. Uncle Kyle seems to think there's a possibility of the Thorns being framed. Maybe your brother or dad didn't do it. She frowned. We'll have to discuss that in a bit, but first, she waved my list in front of me. Let's clear up the mysteries of Alexandra Thorne. And, this feels kind of hypocritical right after that cheesy speech I just gave, but I checked with the town elder and she was able to verify a lot of the things he told me. What, you think I'd be offended? There's probability. Don't worry, I'm glad you were smart enough to look into things. I like the Nick who can give cheesy speeches brimming with idealism, and the Nick who is shrewd enough to look into the background of his friends. You can't just drop the word like on a dude. He's liable to get ideas. Like, or just like. She looked over my list. Thankfully, most of these are pretty easy. I'll start with 1 and 2 here. 1 being why her father had a change of heart, and 2 why she thought Vlad and not her father was the murderer. My father was a stickler for tradition and image. He takes being the head of an important family very seriously. You know, caring about upholding our legacy and image and whatnot. So he's kind of what you imagine in that regard interpersonally. That's why he hit me. He's afraid of my existence and the conclusions drawn from it would tarnish the Thorne reputation. Currently, he's going through a late life crisis, if that's a thing. He feels bad about what he did to me. He regrets treating Vlad the way he did. That said, there's something up with him. He must be getting something out of this. I'm just not sure what it is yet. He has something planned for me. I'm sure of it. I have to refresh myself with water once in a while. As for Vlad, I don't know the details because I wasn't privy to Vlad's training, but from what I know, Father was extremely brutal to Vlad. Lots of yelling, lots of insults. I think he even got physical. So to answer your question, my father supposedly had a change of heart, but I'm not completely sure yet why he gave me my freedom. She handed the list back to me before continuing. Now as for why I think Vlad is the killer and not my father, what I just said is one of them. I don't think it would match the way my father has behaved recently. The second reason is pragmatic. I don't think he would. 1, he never leaves the house anymore, mostly just stays and study. 2, he's kind of frail these days. I'm not sure he could have pulled off the brutal murder of Marina Radek. Her face darkened. Vlad's a different story. Vlad is, well, he's a complicated guy. He wasn't a bad brother. When we were younger, we played with each other a lot. He's been pretty nice to me in the past, but for the last couple of years, he's mostly just done his own thing. Alexandra looked up at the gazebo ceiling. How do I describe Vlad? Well, it feels like he's always one step away from breaking, from taking a step off a ledge. He's got both mommy and daddy issues. Good lord! Hey, book talk! I found your man! He told me that Yenna and him never got along and that she never really treated him like a son. Of course, she died when he was very young, so he's never really had a mother figure in his life. Then, as I mentioned, his father's very tough on him. Vlad has been trained as a successor since the moment he could talk or walk, was that? Yeah, talk, okay. And well, that isn't easy. Vlad always complained about how nobody ever thought he was good enough for his family. But, you know, Vlad has succeeded in his own way. He became much more popular than my father by bottling up his personal feelings and playing the role he thinks people would want him to play. In that sense, it's worked out. But he's wearing a mask, and I think that his mask suffocates him. She looked at me. You menfolk are infuriating. This mask suffocates him, and he stubbornly insists on wearing it. He's walking a dangerous line with his breaking point. He'll assume the headship soon, and he'll do anything to make sure that the transition goes well. That includes keeping my family secrets safe. It would be a betrayal for all he went through otherwise. Given that, between my brother and my brother is much more likely to be the one willing to murder someone. She pointed at my list. That leads to question 3, which was about the tie between Marina Radek and the Thorns. Marina Radek worked as a maid, but I don't know the specific reason that she left or what caused her to be killed. Sorry, I don't know more details. She worked there before I was born. Well, that's probably the investigative lead my uncle is looking to follow up on anyway. That reminds me, isn't your identity going to be known soon? My uncle should be questioning the Thorn staff to find out what they know. That means visiting your mansion. Oh, shit. That too, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Why is the Rudo player fucking not... He's going off. What the fuck? Anyway. She smiled. Don't underestimate us. I wouldn't be in the mansion where it happens. I won't be in the mansion when it happens. We have a tunnel from the copper mining days we utilize. Oh my god. Think of it as a secret passage. I go in and out there whenever I go into town and when I return. I make sure no one is looking though. Oh my god. This is just like what are we saying here? What are we talking about here? I shook my head. Was it really that simple? Tunnels? How could they have kept it? How they kept you hidden? Don't people need documents and stuff? She shook her head. You're so naive. Everything for the family is handled through private connections hired by my father. I get it taken care of that way. I don't need documentation for public stuff. But you're right. My dad will have to figure that stuff out eventually. If he allows my freedom to continue, he'll have to think of something to do about me, but we'll talk about that in a second. She pointed at my list again. Question 4 now, which was about why she thought Yenna Thorne wasn't her mother. Give me a second. I love how I say it, like, give me a second, as if, like, we're all, like, here together. Okay, there we go. It's just, like, I love how I say that shit, as if, like, yeah, no, chat, give me a second. Like, as if we're, like, all in the same room. Like, we're having a sleepover. POV, you're having a sleepover with Cream, and you're watching her play games on the fucking TV, dude. That's easy. I just know. What kind of answer is that? Yenna and my father didn't get along. They wouldn't have had another child with each other once the heir was born. My existence means that my dad had to be in love with someone else. Plus, why else would my father hide me? Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. But why didn't your dad just marry whoever your mother was? She shrugged. No idea. She probably didn't like him as much as he liked her. That's kind of harsh. I know my father. I get why someone wouldn't want to live with him. Question 5 now. Which was, did she know who her suspected real mom was? No idea. She was probably a blonde woman from another area, but other than that, I have no clue who my real mom is. She might not even be alive. That's kind of sad. She shrugged. I don't have the mommy issues Vlad does. At this point, it'd be weirder if my mother came back into my life. As for your last question, well, I don't know my father's plans are for me. But I'll tell you this, I have no intention of being locked away again. She patted me on the arm. I know how devastated he'd be without me, so I'll do my best to stick around. She was right that I'd probably be devastated, but she didn't need to say it. Glad to hear it. You think your father will listen to you? Yep. You'd be surprised to know that I think my father and I are getting along pretty well these days. Really? Yep, don't worry. I think my father wants this to work out, so he'll figure something out. Maybe pretend I was an adopted orphan or something, and then just deal with the rumors. She sighed. My brother, on the other hand, isn't thrilled about the idea. He's worried that I'll compromise his position to head. He used to say that it wasn't fair that I was locked up, but now he gets cold feet when it affects him. Can't stand him sometimes. That seems kind of stupid. You'd be surprised at what these guys hang on to. Yeah, he cares that much. That sort of world was a world away from the one I lived in. Oi, back. My parents' only concern for our family image was how well we did in the bar trivia days on Thursdays. I sat down on the bench. Thanks for answering my questions. Appreciate it. But there was still some stuff I wanted to clarify about the recent murder, if I could hear your thoughts. She smiled broadly and sat down on the bench, right next to me, ignoring the majority of the very nice bench. I am the detective, after all, but you'll probably be disappointed. I still think only Vlad could have done it. You see, my uncle thinks that Thorns don't have much of a motivation to actually kill Beryl Johnson. It makes them way too obvious as culprits. He's thinking that there's a possibility someone wants to make it look like the Thorns did it. Okay, how about this? A Thorn wants the Thorns to look suspicious. I thought you were the great detective. What do you mean? That sounds stupid. That's rich coming from you. I mean, it's possible that Vlad wants to pin this on my father. They haven't exactly been getting along lately. Didn't you just say that Vlad was concerned about the family image? Wouldn't it be a pretty big blow to the family image to frame the head for murder? Yeah, but what if Vlad helps bring in his father? Think of it like this. Vlad does something to make the Thorns look suspicious. He helps with the investigation along by pinning things on his father. He makes a big deal out of the whole thing and makes himself look good. That way he can get his father out of the way and establish himself as head all at once. I don't know, that seems pretty convoluted, especially since you think he killed Marina Radek to help keep it a secret. Well, I admit that would seem kind of silly to kill her to keep secret and then oust father. No, I admit I can't find an easy motive for why Vlad would have killed Beryl Johnson, but I think there definitely could be reasons why Vlad wants the Thorns to be suspicious at the moment. Maybe we're going about it wrong. What if we have two different murders? Vlad killed Marina Radek and then someone else killed Beryl Johnson. She frowned. I thought about that, and one of the earlier suspects fits it nicely with that theory. Remember the professor guy? He was in love with Marina Radek, so he probably wouldn't kill her. But if he was crazy and thought Beryl Johnson might have killed her because she didn't like Marina for messy romantic reasons, then he would have a clear motive. That must be it. That would make sense. Alexandra didn't share my enthusiasm. I don't know. I'd have to meet the guy to get a better impression. I'm not good at interacting with others, but I'm pretty good at reading them. I scoffed. She scoffed back. I still think Vlad is more likely to have done it. I suspect the murders are connected in some way. Beryl Johnson might have known something. She was connected with Marina via Maria's husband, after all. I nodded. That was true. In any case, all things considered, my meeting with Alexandra had went extraordinarily well. I think Alexandra and I were kind of figuring out what us meant now that we have been vulnerable with each other. So, what can I tell my uncle about all this? I can't tell him about your father and Vlad's personalities. He questioned where I got the info. She rolled her eyes. Of course you can. You just gotta come up with a believable excuse for why you know it. What would that be? She rolled her eyes in the other direction this time. You can't leave everything to the girl, you know. Yes, well, in your own words, I'm an idiot, so in this case, I need the girl's help. At least you're honest. How about this? You could say that I've been snooping around and met Vlad in town. He's there all the time. As my father, you met with the elder, right? You could say something from that. Yeah, that could work. I'll figure something out. I looked outside the gazebo. There was still some time before the sunset, and I had to be home given my new curfew. I pointed in the general direction of downtown. Good work, Alexandra. You want to get some coffee now to relax a bit? You can see if you're capable of ordering coffee now. I can handle ordering coffee now. I've gone to pancakes after all. We went to the coffee shop we had gone to on our first outing, and she didn't manage to order her own coffee. We sat at a table in the back while I watched her pour ridiculous amounts of sugar and creamer into her hazelnut-flavored coffee while soft piano music played. It was strange. We were acting the way we usually did, but something was different now. We were closer. Our relationship was a little bit different than that of normal friends. We were accomplices, maybe partners. It was like we had our own little world now. There was something that would only exist between me and her. I liked that, and I was also scared of it. I was in uncharted waters. I had previous girlfriends, but it was different than Charlotte and Jennifer. That had been typical flirting at high school. We hung out on a lunch break and I asked them out. There was something really special between us. Our relationships with them ended how they began, with little feeling. But with Alexandra, there was a part of her only I knew, and there was a part of me that only she knew. I knew the secret teller, and she knew the secret holder. What would become of us, Alexandra? You said your dad would probably let your freedom continue, but was that really the case? The uncertainty was scary, but that made each moment more precious. I knew I had to savor them. Watching her happily drink her coffee, I thought that we had to be the only pair of teenagers brought together because of a murder. Murder brought us together, and dirty secrets brought us closer. Her breaking her promise to her father brought her one step closer towards me, and my keeping of a promise she brought to me only one step closer towards her. I wondered what the next steps would be. What's up? You look like you're lost in thought. Just thinking about how weird we are. What? We? Aren't I the weird one? I laughed. No, I'm definitely weird too. And it's probably your fault, Alexandra. I grabbed a handful of sugar and creamer and started dumping them in my coffee. What's gotten into you? Oh, just being reflective. What does copying my coffee habits have to do with being reflective? Just wanted to see what your world was like. Somehow I don't think sweet coffee conveys what my world is like. It's worth a shot. I lifted my coffee cup at her. A toast. To being weird. She smiled at me and raised her coffee cup. To being weird. We clinked our cups together, and the secret breaker and the secret keeper drank their coffee. Sweet coffee is actually pretty good. I hadn't been able to sleep since the nightmare. I can't control my thoughts. I'm going crazy. The first nightmare. A woman in a nightgown. Another nightmare. A woman with a bullet in her chest. I must be a murderer. No friends or family to talk to, but that's okay because I could talk to the ghosts of the people I killed. The current murderer probably wants to meet up with me. We could talk about all the ways in which we've killed. I killed with a knife and a gun. 8 stabs with a knife. Stab, 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 stab. Just one gunshot. Bang. That's nice. I'm a maimer, the current murderer tells me. Flesh everywhere, limbs thrown about. Like to make a real mess of things. How do you handle it? Handle what? The guilt. You know, from killing people. Well, that's easy. I don't. I have real bad dreams. I can't sleep after. Broken and fallen apart after. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Sorry for stabbing you. Sorry for shooting you. Apologies are never good enough. Sometimes I hear them say that. I know that. That's why I have these dreams. Why am I talking to a murderer? I don't want to talk to a murderer. I don't want to be a murderer. I'm not like you. I'm not like you at all. I'm innocent. I have visions, but that doesn't mean I've killed anyone. I'm just a messenger. I've forgotten my past self, and I'm here now to tell others what will happen. I'm not going to be a murderer. I'm going to be a savior. Do I really think that? Of course I don't. Don't be fucking delusional. Pull yourself together. You're not a murderer. You're not a prophet. You're just a dude with amnesia. Stop driving yourself crazy. I know that. I know that. But the stabbing, the shooting, the killing, those images keep coming back. Sorry. I'm sorry. Why am I like this? I try to forget and I can't. I try to think about anything else and I can't. I'm so tired of these thoughts. How do you get rid of thoughts? Is that the only way? I bet it's quiet when you're dead. No thinking, no thoughts, no guilt. I'd be better that way. Much better. I need to call Detective Storm. I need to talk to someone, anyone. I can't be left alone. I can't be going on like this. I'm going crazy. I know that. I need help. I race downstairs. I start to go for the phone. I'm sorry to bother her, but I need someone. But I feel something. I know they're watching. They've been watching me all along. That's why they know what I've done. I see them through the windows. That's how they see me. The townspeople, they know. They know I'm a murderer. They watch me. They're scheming together. They want to punish me. Detective Storm must be on their side. She sends them to watch me. They're all in on this. I rush to the living room. Even here they're looking at me. There they are. They're glaring at me. Murderer, murderer, leave. I want to, but I have nowhere to go. We'll make you suffer. You'll suffer for what you've done. I'm sorry. So sorry. I'll do better. Please just go away. Leave me alone. Stop looking at me like that. I run back to my room. I close the blinds. Tired of people judging me. I just want to be left alone. I close my eyes. It doesn't help. The images come back. A woman in a nightgown. A body in a coffin. I'm sorry. I don't like this. I open my eyes. I feel the people looking back at me, judging me. They're very angry with me. They want me to suffer. I don't like that either. I close my eyes again. The images come back. Can't take this. Sorry. Need to go. Help. Ah! Oh, that was terrible. That was so bad. The boys cried. I run out of the house. I know. Are we back? What the fuck? We're good? Okay, we're back. Oh my god. That was so fucking stupid. Okay, but I think we're good though. This stream is cursed, dude. This stream is fucking cursed. That's what this is. This stream is fucking cursed. The Ghost of Alcantra cursed the fucking stream. It's not Friday the 13th, but like, come on, man. Y'all can't tell me the stream isn't fucking cursed. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. I'm sick in the head. I know I'm crazy because I haven't been sleeping. I told Detective Storm that someone would die, that they'd be shot, but that's all I could tell her. I couldn't tell her anymore. I know I wasn't helpful. I told her I was sorry. That's all I could do. I can't control my thoughts. I know things, I remember things, but I don't really know what I know. I don't really remember what I remember. Like, god damn it. This fucking stream, dude. I swear to god, I feel like the stream is fucking cursed. Trust chat, the stream is cursed as fuck. Thoughts spring up. They control me. I obsess over them. I stay locked up in the house to avoid the townspeople, but I can't escape the thought that everyone knows that I'm a murderer. Is it not going? Hold on. I need to check my Twitch real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me... Okay, maybe it's lying to me. Maybe it's lying to me. Hold on. Check this. Okay, I'm not. Then why the fuck are you telling me that I am? That feels silly. Alright, hold on. Okay. Let's see. Check that. Check that again. Check this again. See, now it says it. Okay. Now it says it. There we go. See, now it fucking says it. Alright, chat, I think this stream is cursed. I'm dead. I think this stream is cursed. I accidentally fucking ended it a while ago, and then I'm like... Dude, I'm fumbling. Dude, that's what this is. I promise, I'm like... What the fuck, man? This is so fucked up. Why you hate me when I'm falling? That's just the fucking, not me fucking dissing the ghost. Like, bruh. I'm like, y'all should literally see my Blue Sky post right now, dead ass, because I literally quote posted my like going live post, and I'm just like, we're back again because my brain dummy stupid and the stream is cursed. Thank you, Ghost of Alcantra. What the fuck? Why you hate me when I'm ballin'? Fuck. I'm telling you, I'm a stupid fuck. Anyway, we gotta keep going. All in all, TLDR, if you weren't here, Victor's going crazy. He's going apeshit at this point. I think he fell into psychosis, so, that's fun. Oh, I love it. Thoughts spring up. They control me. I obsess over them. I stay locked up in the house to avoid the townspeople, but I can't escape the thought that everyone knows I'm a murderer. They all judge me, and it scares me. I keep running and running. I don't know where I'm going. People are probably looking. Let them look. I'm already crazy. I'm gone. If you're looking for the murderer in me, he's gone. He's already left. He left me alone to fight these feelings. If I keep running, I'll be too tired to think. That's what I want. No thoughts. Anything but any more damn thoughts. I keep running and running and running. I'm out of shape. Very tired, but that's good. Very good. I see water in the distance. That's a canal. Good. If the thoughts don't go away, I'll jump in. Too tired to swim. Maybe I'll drown. Scary for a little, but then no thoughts. Nice and quiet. That'd be nice. Keep running. And keep running, and keep running. The water comes to me. I stop. I look at the water. No thoughts. Just tired. The water is nice. Nice. I keep looking at the peaceful waves, the azure calm. Very calm. Very peaceful. I sit down and watch the waves. I let time pass by. I've been slowly breaking since the second nightmare. This must have been my limit. I don't really want to drown. I'm not going to throw myself into the canal. I don't think I want to die. Even if I do decide to kill myself, I'm not going to drown myself when there are much quicker, much less painful ways to die. Am I a murderer? I'm probably a murderer. Why else would I have these dreams? They're not just dreams, they're much more than that. They're the echoes of my subconscious guilt that won't let me run away. Amnesia can only grant me temporary peace. I probably do deserve to die, but not just yet. I want to save the next victim. For some reason, I know what'll happen. A middle-aged woman will be shot in the heart. I know this. If I could just remember who it was, Detective Storm could protect her, save her. If I could just remember and give her something to work with. After that, we'll save the third victim. There will be more murder attempts. We'll stop them. I remember who the murderer was. I must have shown them. How else would I know what's going to happen? That didn't feel quite right, but it was all I had to work with. I would have to save the next victims, and myself with that. When the murderer was caught, and I remembered who I was, only then could I decide whether or not to run away. Whatever running away entailed. I watched the canal waves peacefully lap onto the dock. I let my head go empty for a long time, just watching the water. It was beautiful. Very beautiful. The sky was a cloudless, clear blue. I was sweaty. My shirt had been soaked from my run here. I don't think I exercised all that much. How I managed to get here so fast. I kept watching the waves. If I died, I couldn't watch the waves like this. That would be sad. I sat like that for a long time. I didn't keep track of how long I sat there. It must have been hours. Eventually, I got up and made my way back to Detective Storm's place. I was exhausted and severely dehydrated when I got back. Detective Storm raged like her name when she saw me. Told me she was mad that I worried her and made me drink lots of water. I told her I was sorry. I told her about my breakdown. I told her that I had pulled myself together. She was very nice to me. Told me to be gentle with myself. Told me to take care of myself. She told me those things in a very gruff sort of manner with an embarrassed look. I told her I'd do my best to help her with the investigation. Are we just a simp, dude? Are we just a simp? Is that what this is? Man, we simping. That's some simp shit. That's what I'm saying. She told me not to worry about it. I knew that was a lie. A very nice lie. I was exhausted. After saying goodnight to Detective Storm, I went to bed. I fell asleep in minutes. It was my first good night of sleep since the nightmare. I spent the next couple of days returning to the canal front to think. I liked looking at the waves. I liked the nighttime the best, but during the day I liked being here. It was peaceful, and I needed that. I tried to remember things, but nothing came to mind. That was okay. Even if nothing came to mind, I could just watch the water. The coming and going of the tide was my lullaby. Well, canals didn't have tides, but same idea. I watched the waves rock back and forth. I visited the canal front again. I tried harder to remember things today. Forgetting about my worries would only delay the inevitable. Knowing my dreams, I was going to break down eventually. The only way I could deal with my situation was to remember who I was. I started piecing together what I knew. I knew the Thorns had run Alcantra in the past, but they no longer did. Something had happened to them. I also felt like I had some sort of connection to the Thorns. The name brought different emotions to mind. It was hard to sum up what emotions the name brought me. It was complicated, lots of good and lots of bad. I knew I was involved in several deaths. I was involved in the stabbing of a woman, a murder that wasn't being clearly investigated. I was also involved in a murder that resulted in a woman getting shot. There was going to be a second murder, and the second murder was going to resemble my second nightmare. How did I know this? How was I predicting the future? No. I was remembering the past, something that had already happened. There was something off about Alcantra. Why did no one talk about the Thorns? They were so important to Alcantra. There had been an event, a series of events. I thought about the legend of the Ghost of Alcantra. Something about that story was familiar. I've been thinking of a different legend, about one people used to tell, but the legend of Lang Weatherton had told me. There was something very familiar about that too. What was it? It was so close. All the pieces were there. The thorns, Alcantra, murders, the Ghost of Alcantra. I was so close to remembering something. Today was June 27th, 1997. When I woke up, I knew today was important. Today felt special. Something was going to happen. That's why I tried harder to remember today. June 27th, then 1997. The date. That was the key. It finally came to me. I felt knocked over by the realization. Why hadn't anyone brought it up? 1997. Detective Storm had told me that there were some crimes a decade ago. It wasn't just crimes, it was a series of murders. There were 3 murders, just like the legend of Lang Weatherton told me. Was that legend based on what happened? How come no one had brought it up? Yes, in 1987 there were 3 murders. I thought about my second nightmare. There were 3 coffins for the 3 victims, and the 4th coffin must be Alcantra's, the ghost a murderer wanted to bring back. It all made sense. I knew that the murders in 1997 were going to mimic the murders of 1987. Someone was trying to bring someone back. The murders of 1987. Was I the murderer? That didn't feel quite right. But what other interpretation matched my nightmares? And the Thorns. They were involved in the murders too. I knew I was involved with Thorns. Did we work together? I could worry about my own sins later. The second victim was needed to be detected. June 27th. June 27th. The date was important. Today was important. The first victim in both 1987 and 97. They both had been brutally maimed. The second victim in both murders would be shot through the heart. When would that be? When would that be? June 27th. It'll be today. They would die today. I don't know why the murders are not mimicking the murders of 87. I don't know how I was involved, but I knew this would be my last chance to save the second victim. She had told me in my dream that her death was inevitable, but it wasn't. We could save her. What was her name? Her name? I couldn't remember. She's a middle-aged woman, but there was something about her. A distinguishing characteristic. She was involved in something. No, I didn't know what was going on in Alcantra. Fuck you, Apple Music. Anyway. I didn't know what was going on with Alcantra now. I had been gone too long. Something else. I needed something else. I know. She was a suspect. She had been thought of as a suspect for the first murder. That was what happened in 1987. It would be the same now. I needed to go tell Detective Storm what I knew immediately. We need to protect all the middle-aged women who are suspects in this case. We're coming up on ads in about 15 seconds, but if you want to skip the ads, feel free to drop a sub for the channel. There couldn't be that many. It could prevent the second death. I ran to the nearest phone booth, one close to the canal. I called up Detective Storm's office phone. Yes, Detective Storm speaking. This is Victor. The message you got was right. I do know. I told her what I knew, that the second victim was a middle-aged woman who was a suspect. I also told her that I remember more about myself, but that can wait. She didn't question anything. Alright, I believe you. There are 2 suspects who meet your criteria. I'm going to check on them right away. Tell me where you are. I want you to come with me. I told her my location and she hung up. I was relieved that she believed me. Her distrust in me and had ironically created our strongest tie. She believed me to be a criminal who was involved in whatever was going on. That's why she kept me around. Oh, thanks for continuing to check out our game. Hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm so sorry I didn't read that a while ago, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying pretending to be mentally ill. I'm really enjoying pretending to be a mentally ill middle-aged man. It's so fun. I'm filled with whimsy. Wait, where's that meme? Hold on. I can actually pull this up right now. No, wait, I had a friend send it to me. Hold on. I love how I'm, like, taking time from my fucking stream to make a stupid joke. But hey, it's funny. Hold on. Because I'm gonna make this fucking joke. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny, trust. Look at chat. You ready? This is me! This is me right now, chat! I'm so full of whimsy! I'm gonna keep this in the corner. Is this gonna be right there? Oh, that's perfect. Oh, this works. That's why she kept me around. I stepped out of the phone booth and waited impatiently for Detective Storm's car. The police station was so close to the canal. Was quite close to the canal, so Detective Storm arrived to pick me up in 3 minutes. Two things dawned on me as I got into the car. First, Detective Storm probably couldn't get a full police team to join her for this. Mobilizing everyone because an amnesiac remembered something? They wouldn't buy that. That was understandable, but worrisome. What if we encountered the murderer? Second, it ironically dawned on me that it was dusk. I might have remembered too late. There wasn't much of the 27th left. The murder could have already happened. I had to bank on the hope that someone was more likely to be murdered at night. As soon as I buckled in, Detective Storm started tearing towards the east side of town. She was going ridiculously fast, around 15 on 25. Could detectives get pulled over for speeding? Probably not. Will we be alright? What do you mean? In case we meet the killer. Oh, no worries there. I got my partner with me. She patted the side of her hip. I guess she meant her gun. I never lost a fight and never will. You've been in shootouts before? No, but I won't lose if I was in one. I didn't find that reassuring. Tell me everything you remembered. We got 5 minutes to tell our destination. We'll start with Dolores Lish-Schmidt. She's just a little past the east side of town. The other person who matches your description is Beatrice Jameston. She lives way outside of town. She'll take nearly half an hour to get to, though I'm gonna go like itty on the highway, so I can shorten that a little. I told her what I remembered, that the murders were mimicking a set of murders in 87 and that the Thorns had been involved in them. I told her that I probably was, too. Did you already know that about me? Victor, I barely know about the murders in 87. I'd only been stationed here a couple of years. All I know is that there was a bad crime in 87 and that they needed a detective here. That struck me as incredibly fishy. You didn't know about the murders or the Thorns? Just that they happened and they existed. It seems so negligent. She just shrugged her shoulders. Don't worry about the past much. I'm a forward-looking gal. But you're a detective. You're supposed to know about the past. She shrugged again. I'm probably a better guy than I am a detective. I'll look into those murders after today. If you're right, we should be able to do something then. Either she was lying to me or the police here were the most incompetent group of people on Earth. There was no way that no one informed the detective working here about the murders in 87 or what happened to the Thorns, given that they're connected to what happened in 87. I suspected she was lying to me. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. I shook my head. I could worry about what she was hiding from me later. Protecting the next victim was top priority. A couple of minutes later, we reached Dolores Lyle Schmidt's house, a small cottage surrounded by large forests. Stay in the car. Let me handle this. I nodded. I may have been borderline suicidal a couple of days ago, but I didn't want to get in a gunfight. If I was to die, that would be on my own terms. Stay safe, detective. Of course. She cocked a pistol and headed towards the house. There was still something strange about all this. Detective Storm never mentioned if they caught the culprit in the 87 cases. They must not have, otherwise they'd have much more to go off of. Then how were the Thorns connected? They were gone now, so something must have caused them to leave. That was what bothered me the most about this. It was like people had just forgotten what happened in 87, just like I had. I remember what Elaine Weatherton had told me. She told me that only she and I would remember the previous Alcantra, and that others would remember only if I allowed them to. Obviously, I couldn't control people's memories, so that couldn't be it. But what was really going on then? I cast that on my mind. Detective Storm and I would prevent the second murder from happening today. Later, we would prevent the third murder. After that, I could worry about other things. Detective Storm returned about 5 minutes later. Is she okay? She's fine. I've gotten her a lockdown set up until backup comes. They should be here in 5 minutes. You got backup? Your whole department believes me? I convinced them that you're my best lead. They'll protect her until further notice. Thank you, I really mean it. Of course, I asked you to help me solve this after all. I should be thanking you. She backed the car out to the highway and started repping towards the countryside. Even with Detective Storm driving like a maniac, she was pushing 90 on 55, it would still take a bit to get there. My worry and anxiety grew as I watched the sun recede into the distance. The cover of darkness was normally comforting, though only today it only heightened my nervous anticipation. The 27th was ending. I hoped that when I remembered the details of the third murder, I would remember them in a more timely manner. Just as the sun hid behind the rise of her good, we arrived at the driveway of Beatrice Jameston. She had a long, winding gravel driveway that sloped upward. It would have been a nightmare to snowblow during the winter. It must have been nearly 200 meters from the road to her house. Detective Storm didn't pull to the driveway. She just stared at a spot behind the mailbox that was on the side of the road. What are you doing? We need to... Then I saw what she was looking at. Just like at the first murder scene, there was a message that looked like it was written in blood. The message said, "You're too late." It was that one? Motherfucker! No! But chat, I'm so full of whimsy. I'm so full of whimsy. I'm so full of whimsy. What do you mean I'm too late? That's bullshit. What do you mean I'm too late? I'm so full of whimsy. That's so fucking stupid. No, fuck you. Late, too late. No, it can't be. No, I am. I'm too late. Detective Storm pulled the car to the side of the road and turned it off. She reached to the back seat and grabbed a bag I assumed contained materials of a investigated crime scene. Stay in the car. No. What? I want to see her. The murderer. You'll protect me, right? She glared at me, but I wasn't willing to cooperate. Don't worry about protecting me, Detective Storm. Maybe it'd be better if I got shot. Was it going to break? Was I already broken? Probably. It was probably too late for me now, but just in case it wasn't, I wanted to apologize to Beatrice Jameson, to the woman of my nightmares, to the woman I condemned to a coffin. I got out of the car and started making my way up the slope. Detective Storm ran after me. All right then, stay behind me. Don't touch anything. Okay. She pulled out her pistol and held it at the ready and walked in front of me. 15 meters up the slope, we found a second message. It was a repeat message, written in crimson gilt, lead in lead, was, "This is your fault." The same message that had been left at the first crime scene. I didn't pay much attention to the message. There was no need to state the obvious. I didn't say anything to Detective Storm, who was looking at me carefully. I knew she had things she wanted to say, but she kept quiet. I kept walking. After another 50 meters, we found a third message. Apparently, the killer was getting fed up with me. Written in the usual red was, "Stop running." How funny was that? Even the killer was giving me psychological advice. Elaine Weatherton told me to stop running. Detective Storm could have told me to stop running. Now a murderer was telling me to stop running. I burst out laughing. Detective Storm looked at me with a nervous expression. I had never seen that look on her face before. It made me laugh even harder. Is it perhaps because I'm so full of whimsy? Are you alright? Nope, I'm full of whimsy. She looked alarmed. You should really go back to the car. Not happening. Not until I see Beatrice Jameson dead with a bullet in her chest. Even if I was late, I might as well confirm my prophetic abilities. You never know when you might get the chance to demonstrate their usefulness. I walked past Detective Storm. Was it uselessness? Yeah, uselessness. I walked past Detective Storm. If you want to do something about me, Detective Storm, use that pistol. Do it. I dare you. You can't just let a potential suspect disobey your orders like that. Go ahead and do it. Show me what happens to people who don't listen to you. Apparently nothing. She just trotted back ahead of me, resigned to the fact that I had lost it. I guess she figured it was best to be around me in case I decided to do something stupid. Don't worry, Detective Storm. Not yet. Not yet. After about 15 meters, right in front of Beatrice Jameson's house, there on the ground was the last message. It was another repeater. It said in all caps, "Her blood is on your hands." Well, there's no point in yelling about it. That doesn't make things any clearer. You have to be specific. Whose blood is on my hands? There's a lot of options, you know. Could it be the woman from my first nightmare? Could it be Marcella Rivers, brutally maimed? Could it be Beatrice Jameson, recently shot? Could it be any of the poor victims from 87? You have to be specific. I have a lot of blood on my hands. The door to Beatrice Jameson's home was open. On quick examination, you could see that the doorknob had been shot through. The home had been broken into. That didn't surprise me. It was just another piece to the puzzle. The first murder victim had let the culprit into her home. The second victim had her home broken into. That's just how things were. Detective Storm pushed me aside as I stared at the broken door. Stay behind me. Get down if you hear any shots. I nodded. She raised up her pistol and walked through the open doorway. I followed after her. Just past the entryway was the body of Beatrice Jameson welcoming us into her home. It was a woman I had seen in my dream. Don't touch anything. I nodded again. I just inched a little closer to confirm. Her corpse looked more peaceful than I imagined it would. It took me a while to identify where the bullet wound was. She had indeed been shot in the chest. It almost looked like she was enjoying her rest. Her death would have been quick. She probably didn't suffer too much. I could at least be grateful for that. Detective Storm checked the other rooms while I looked at the deceased Beatrice Jameson. That was a mistake. The thoughts came to me again. I'm going to break. I'm going to fall into pieces. I've already broken beyond repair. I'm gone. There was no saving me. You were my salvation, my hope. You were my refuge from the guilt that has gnawed at me. The only way I could save myself was to save you, and, well, look at you now. What's next for me? I know what'll happen next. I'll have conversations with murderers I never met, corpses who don't exist, ghosts of those who lived. Everywhere I go, I'm going to see the judgmental faces of those who look upon a wretch like me. I'll see their disgust. I'll hear their disdain. I'm not going to be able to take it. My only hope from going crazy was you, and you failed me because I failed you. I'm sorry. I apologized to a corpse. As a testament to my insanity, I thought I could hear the corpse respond. She told me that it was okay. People have been telling me such nice lies recently. If only I could believe them. Detective Storm returned to pin on some gloves. I assumed she was going to examine the crime scene. The police are on their way. Yeah, very late, as it would seem. Okay. You should probably go outside. Looking at the body isn't going to do you any good. You're right. I know I'm right. Go outside. This isn't your fault. Another nice lie. I made my way out of the house. Maybe the moon could comfort me better than the ghosts and the people around me could. There I was, a fellow army of one. I would know what I feel like right now, to be so hopelessly alone. Victor! Detective Storm shouted back at me. You can't give in yet. There's still one more person, right? We have to save them. You hear that? You can't give in yet. Not until the very end. I stared back hollowly at her. Yes, she was right. I know I couldn't give up yet. I owe the previous victims that much. Could I keep myself from falling apart until then? I doubt it, but I have to at least try. I won't give up. Not yet, anyway. She nodded at me. Good. Giving up is for losers, and you aren't a loser. You won't be doing any of that while you're staying with me. I'm counting on you. It was an insensitive pep talk, but it was better than nothing. Saving 1 out of 3 is better than 0 out of 3. I looked up at the moon. I leaned against the side of the house, in front of the message that said, "Her blood is on your hands," and stared upward. I was on the precipice of madness, dancing on the edge of my breaking point. I deserved this. I felt that. I felt it strongly. Guilt had been my closest and most reliable companion since I woke up in that hospital bed. I deserved to go mad. I deserved to break. The rest of the police arrived 20 minutes later. They set up a perimeter, made me move from my spot, and proceeded with their investigation. Detective Storm told me to wait in her car, but I had decided to continue looking at the moon. It had given me strength before. I needed to give me strength again. The moon seemed too big, so proud and strong in the night sky, but it was actually very small, all things considered, just a tiny part of the cosmos, almost entirely insignificant. Then look at me. Compared to the moon, I was nothing, even smaller, even more insignificant. The somberness of this nihilist realization comforted me. No matter what happened, it wouldn't matter anyway. Do I really believe that? Of course I don't. If I didn't think things mattered, I wouldn't feel like this. Maybe the moon feels the same way. Of course it doesn't. It's a rock. It doesn't feel anything. It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. Despite that, it's still there. Despite everything, I'm still here. Despite everything, it's still you, Pookie. Until actual nothingness takes us, we were something, no matter how small. This is all I have, ever will have. Nothingness would come, and until then, this was everything. Nothing matters, and that's why everything does. I stayed like that for a while. Eventually, Detective Storm tapped me on the shoulder, a kind expression on her face. Let's go home. We didn't talk about the murder or the investigation on the way back. Detective Storm drove in silence and I looked out the window. I'm sure there were things she wanted to ask me, but she was too afraid of breaking me any further. I wanted to reassure her that I wasn't going to break, but I couldn't say that truthfully. Every time I found my resolve, it seemed like something new arose to break it. This almost felt like a torture specifically made for me. It was late when we returned to her home. I was too scared to go to bed. I already had 2 nightmares. Could I handle a third one? Detective Storm must have sensed this. She spoke to me gently. Not getting any sleep will only make you feel worse, you know. That was true. Not sleeping had almost made me go insane. Maybe it's better if I go insane. No, it's not. You're not going insane until you help me with this case. I tried to smile at that. I'm certain the therapist would not have approved of her saying that. I'll do my best. You'll do better than that. You'll succeed. For someone who thinks I'm a criminal, you sure can be nice to me. She laughed. What makes you think I think you're a criminal? I'm sure I just know you're involved. Same thing. Is it? I guess it might as well have been. Get some rest. You'll feel better in the morning. Okay. I was afraid of the nightmares I'd have, but a nightmare might be a blessing. The first nightmare served as a reminder of what I'd done previously. The second nightmare foresaw what would happen to the second victim. The third nightmare could very well tell me something important. Oh my god. God. Surprisingly, I fell asleep quite easily. It's ironic considering I fucking yawned because I'm so full of... Chat, what am I full of? Whimsy! This is so good. Fortunately, I rested quite well. My mind, knowing that my nightmares could help me figure out my situation, I slept dreamlessly. We're back in the 80s. The next day, I pulled Uncle Kyle aside at the house and told him what I had learned from Elder Weatherton, and as well as what Alexandra told me. I tried to pass off Alexandra's info as just a keen insight from a chance meeting with Vlad. The story I concocted was she met him downtown and they struck up a conversation. Yeah, I heard about those rumors since I grew up in Alcantra. Unfortunately, that was 18 years ago, and it won't be easy to find evidence. But that would certainly be a secret worth hiding. Were you able to get any info from the staff? Uncle Kyle shook his head dejectedly. Ugh. Ow. My back. Not much. The older staff are extremely loyal, and the younger staff don't seem to know anything. Of course, Elgar and Vlad didn't say anything helpful. I was able to get a little info on Marina Radek. I didn't get any specific details, but one of the cooks let it slip that Elgar was extremely fond of Marina. Oh! Was she the mom? No, shut up. No, shut up. No, shut up. She was the fucking mom. And then she got shot. Oh my god. Uh-oh. Yep, I'm taking extremely fond to mean rather tight interpersonally. I'm guessing that's why she left. Yenna didn't want her around after she found out. I brought up what Elder Weatherton told me about Marina, how her case was kind of unusual for a Thorn staff member. The details made sense if she was Elgar's mistress. I'll have to look into getting concrete evidence of that possible connection. It's going to be difficult to make an arrest given how many of the cops here might be under the Thorn payroll. Should you be telling me this? Uncle Kyle thought about it. No. He scratched his head awkwardly. But here's one last thing. Marina Radek had a lot of money. Much more money than someone who ran a bakery probably should have. Yeah, because she was a mistress! Because she was a hoe, dude. That's why. Oh my god. She made lots of deposits and the amounts were high enough that my guess is that she had money to... My guess is that the money had to come from the Thorns. Yeah, because she was a thought! I'm kidding. There's pretty much no doubt that she knew something the Thorns didn't want to get out. It's just a matter of getting enough evidence that even the Thorns can't find a way out of this. Don't worry, I'll keep quiet. Glad to hear it. He patted me on the shoulder. Tell Alexandra I appreciate her input. Oh well, she has a big ego, so she'll be glad to hear that. Uncle Kyle smiled and began to head out. He turned back to me from the doorway. Hey though, be careful out there. I don't think the murderer would be after someone like you, but it's best to be a little cautious. Someone who was killed is still out there. Don't worry, I'm staying out of trouble. Which wasn't exactly true. I spent the next week cycling between meeting Alexandra and my friends. The town had been pretty rattled the first couple of days after Farrell Johnson's death, but things were returning to normal. Alexandra and I mostly hung out around Alcantra together, but we still talked about the investigation done. Alexandra's new theory was that Vlad was plotting the downfall of the Thorne family. Okay, so maybe Vlad isn't framing my father, but he's trying to take down the family. Why wouldn't he just spill the family secrets then? Because he's a drama queen. You being serious right now? Dead serious. I gave her a look. She ignored my skepticism and continued. You wouldn't get it since you don't know Vlad, but he's certainly the murderer. His behavior around the mansion has been reprehensible. Couldn't he just be being a jerk right now? He's always a jerk, but this jerkdom is different. He's on edge right now. She brushed her hair back dramatically. You should appreciate all I go through to hang out with you. Damn, alright. I didn't know what that had to do with anything. Do you always need to be so over the top? I'm not being over the top. I'm being perfectly beneath the top. She made some dramatic gestures I couldn't interpret. She liked doing those. I traded the future for the now. Can't you make yourself useful and whisk me away somewhere? I really don't think you think of me as a whisking away type. That's not true. I put a lot of expectations on you. Tell me about it. Who is calling me right now? I will be right back. I'm back in a full of whimsy. A full of whimsy and joy. Okay, we're keeping going. Where was I at? Oh yeah. Yep, better get used to it. I sighed. Yes, ma'am. The peaceful days continued. A couple of days later, Walburn asked me to hang out. We met at his place. Hey man, I got a favor to ask you. This better not be about Jenny. He waved his hand dismissively. No, this is much more serious. It's about the upcoming game against Hamtra and Uperball. I rolled my eyes. Hamtra is the town across the bridge from us. You can think of them as Alcantra's rivals. We were about the same size in our high school teams to be in sports. Given it was summer and there weren't any official competitions going on, some idiots like Walburn organized unofficial sporting outings to keep the competitive fire going all year long. Uperball is basically a game of rugby and a game of capture the flag played at the same time. Some kids made up the game that would become Uperball, and it stuck as a thing to do as a pastime. So, what's the favor you want? I need 2 more players to complete the team for Alcantra. We got Terrence and I, Jenny got a couple of the girls on the basketball team to join, and we got a couple of football guys joining. Of course, you're joining too. Oh, am I? I tried to sound as sarcastic as possible. Of course you are. Did you organize this? Sure did. The captain of the football team had the audacity to do some shit talking while I was around, so naturally I had to respond to his provocation. Did you really though? Yeah, I really did. Nasty words were exchanged, and we put together this outing to establish local supremacy. Did you consider that the captain of their football team could put together a much better team than you can? Of course, but everyone loves an underdog story. We'll have the power of narrative on our side. You know, I don't think it works like that. You have no understanding of the human heart. We're going to be a group of ragtag misfits brought together by trust and friendship. There's no way superior athleticism could beat that. I'm pretty sure it does most of the time. Besides, we'll have me. He stuck out his chest and pointed his thumb at it. I looked at the 5'4" chubby dude in front of me. Not exactly an inspiring sight, but, well, when it came to sports, not much you could say to get through to Warburton. Alright, I'll join. So, who are you recruiting as the last member? He cleared his throat. I would like you to ask Miss Alexandra to join us. I burst out laughing. Alexandra? Really? He looked offended. Why not? You being sexist or what? I'm trying to roll my eyes to the heavens. Of course not, you idiot. She's pretty athletic. She'd do fine. But you think she's going to be willing to join a group of 19 people she doesn't know? I told you that she's new to the socializing thing. Which is why I've asked you to recruit her. You see, I have it all mapped out. She joins us after a struggle trying to convince her. In a dramatic twist of fate, the power of love overcomes all and leads us to victory. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Don't tell me you can't see the vision. I can't. He spat at the ground. Soulless. You're an empty shell. I pity Alexandra. Stuck with a fool like you for her first love. Who said anything about first love? I could sense it. Mind you, he's never met her before. Well, I'll ask her, dude, but don't be surprised if she says no. Thanks, I knew I could count on you. Don't worry, Nick, there's no way she'll ever say no to you. He turned around dramatically like a coach in a cheesy, B-quality high school sports movie would. At last, we'll have the final piece. Though, through underdog powers, the ties of friendship... My fucking earbud fell out! You know why? You know why, chat? Cause I'm full of whimsy! Through underdog ties, the ties of friendship and the bonds of love, we will prevail over those accursed folk at Himatra. I left him as he attempted to what sort of sounded like an evil laugh. Aren't the underdogs usually the heroes? The next day, I brought the idea up to Alexandra. Me? She looked at me incredulously. Don't be afraid to say no. I don't know what Warburton was thinking. Her incredulous look turned into a glare. You mean you don't think I'm up for it? Uh-oh, I can hear Warburton's accusations of sexism in my ears again. No, I meant socially. She thought about that. Oh yeah, there will be a lot of people there. Will I have to talk? A little, yeah. She played with her hands. Maybe I could be the ref? You know, I'm the picture of authority. No, you can't, and no, you aren't. It's okay to say no. Well, I don't want to say no, but I'm also nervous about meeting the others. To be fair, my friend's a weirdo, so that's understandable. I started to say that we could do something else, but before I could, she launched into a very stupid speech. But, you know, you can't waste opportunities. That's right. It's about time we introduce me to your friends and show them how great I am. This Warburton fellow sounds like he has keen intuition. I've done lots of running training over the years in the Garden of Thorns by myself, which was rather sad. But still, this Uberball game, I'd be quite suited for the capture the flag or whatever you called it portion. Yes, I'm a lithe like a tiger and graceful like a gazelle. I interrupted her before she said any more stupid stuff that would embarrass her later. Is that a yes then? She stopped to give me an irritated look for having interrupted her speech. It's a yes. I'd like to meet your friends. I accept your challenge. I didn't challenge you to anything? The challenge was implicit. I don't think it was. I shook my head, though I was kind of happy that she was going to be joining us. Have to warn you, though, Warburton can be a lot to handle of these sorts of situations. Who do you think you're talking to? I live with 2 probable murderers. I can handle this Warburton guy. She patted me on the back. I know you're trembling in your boots about the prospect of one of those strapping young athletes swooping in and taking me away from you, but we had to do this sometime. Teasing aside, she had a point. I couldn't be the only person she socialized with in Alcantra. Of course I'd like you to meet other people. Tell you what, sometime after the game, let's have you meet my parents. She took a couple of steps. She took a couple of steps backwards, blushing furiously. Your parents? Isn't it a little early for getting married? Who said anything about getting married? That's what you meet parents for. Oh God, I'm supposed to ask your dad for permission. No, you're not. Isn't that my job anyway? She wasn't listening to me. I'll have to get my best dresses tailored. Please don't. You don't want me to look good? You don't need to show off for my parents. It's just, you know, a chill meeting. You look good all the time anyway. I meant that in a dismissive sort of way, but now she was blushing even harder with a pleased sort of look on her face. Oh, whatever. Wear your best clothes and tell me mother again you'll take me away. She'll be told to hear it. Be careful what you ask for, Mr. Fox. I might just do that. She turned away laughing, leaving me confused as to what our plans for her meeting my parents were. At least Walburn will be glad to hear that we got our 10th member. Hopefully he'll be supportive about our apparent marriage as well. We're already in July, nice. A couple of days later, I met up with Alexandra at our usual spot, and we headed off to the park. I biked, while Alexandra stood on the peg in the back. The rest of our team was carpooling, but Alexandra and I had decided we needed the time to prep. So, how are we going to introduce me? I guess as my fiance. She gave me a whack in the head from the back of my bike. Be serious, you dummy. I mean, what are we gonna do about where I'm from and my last name and things like that? Well, I doubt you'll need a last name. We'll just introduce you as my friend Alexandra. Water. If anyone asks, we'll just say you're staying with your relatives due to some personal family issues. People generally respect privacy up here if you bring up family issues. Okay, but what if we get someone nosy? Just give them the none of your business shtick. Yeah, well, I'd rather not give them a bad impression. It'll be fine. Besides, everyone will be concerned with a Uber Ball game. They won't care who you are or where you're from as long as you can contribute to the game. We're all good there. I'm the fastest thorn in generations. Then they'll love you. We crossed a bridge, marking Alexandra's first time leaving Alcantra. Alexandra didn't seem to be appreciating the novelty. She seemed kind of nervous. I figured now would be a good time to explain the rules to keep her mind off things. I should explain the game we're playing. It could be a little confusing for someone playing for the first time. I explained the rules of the made-up game to her. Each team had 10 players, and those 10 players were split up into groups of 5. One group of 5 would be the rugby group, and the other group of 5 would be the capture the flag group. Oh my goodness! Hi Turtle, thank you for the daily. Hello. Jesus, that was disgusting. Yeah, hi. Hello. Welcome to stream. As you can see, I'm full of whimsy today. This image is never going. This might just be like a permanent picture of my fucking stream chat. This little I'm full of whimsy. Because I'm so Sigma. And full of whimsy. The game was usually played in locations with large open areas, which was why we were going to this specific park across the bridge. The open area would be sectioned into 2 different segments. It is Sigma indeed. It's very Sigma Ligma balls, basically. The middle of the area would be made into a rugby field. In that area, the 2 teams used their rugby groups to compete. They tried playing football at first, but that required too much effort. The goal of the rugby group is to run the ball into the other team's end zone. You can pass the ball, but only backwards or laterally. You can't pass it forward. Of course, the appeal of the game is that you get to tackle people. You're not allowed to make contact above the shoulders, but everything else is fair game. For simplicity's sake, you get 1 point each time you successfully carry the ball into the other team's end zone. Sounds barbaric. Isn't that just normal rugby rules? It is, and it's not barbaric. No kicking or punching. Just what? Oh, shit. Just tackling. Isn't that still dangerous? I'm gonna flip a coin, choose heads or tails. Okay, heads. Fuck. Heads. Like the head I'm gonna get. Hey, yo! Isn't that so dangerous? Nah, we don't have to worry about that. 1, usually the people organizing get some people to ref this. 2, I doubt either of us will be on the rugby squad. But yeah, I choose heads because of the heads. Oh wait, if I win, you have to add me on Discord. Okay. Are you saying I'm not fit to tackle people? More like not fit to be tackled. She humped in my ear. Jenny and Walburn will be on that team for sure, but we're going to get stomped in that department anyway since the football players for Hamtro will be playing in the rugby section. That's where we'll come in. I explained the other part of the game. The area surrounding the rugby section of the field was for the capture the flag game. That section was divided into 2 halves. Each half had its own touchdown section, and in that touchdown section you kept a beanbag. The goal of this park was to get the opposing team's beanbag and bring it to your side. However, if you crossed to the other team's end and got tagged, you had to sit down and couldn't move. You could only move again if you were tagged by one of your team members. If you grabbed the beanbag, it's tails, I swear if I lie, I'm no longer the turtle god. Bruh. Fucking trick of fate, dude. That's what that was. That was trick of fate. You then give the beanbag back a restart, trying to do it all over again. The team with the most overall points, rugby plus capture the flag sections, wins. Wait, this isn't a combination of rugby and capture the flag. It's literally just a game of rugby being played at the same time as a game of capture the flag. We're gonna say tails never fails. Lamau. Lamau. Well, yes, with a collective point total. That's so stupid. Blame the previous generation. They came up with it. And why do you still play this game? That's a good question. Probably because the people who like tackling get to do that, and the people who like running get to do that. All while still getting to feel like they're part of a large community. Speaking of running, isn't the capture the flag section way more important? Point-wise it is, but usually the capture the flag points aren't scored nearly as quickly as rugby points. You could just have people guard the outside of your touchdown to capture the flag, and it can be kind of hard to get the beanbag. Is there any strategy? There's a tricky decision of whether or not to go on the offensive or defensive. If you bring multiple people, you can increase your chances of getting the beanbag, but if you get caught, you give the other team a much better chance of getting your beanbag since you're stuck here. It's a risk. Oh, look! Oh, shit! Quest stamp and anyone want to see my dance moves? I would love to see your dance moves. And we're going on the offensive, right? I usually don't. I usually guard the end zone to try to tag people who come into our half. That's sort of the cowardly tactic I expect from you. Let's go! I love the dancing. I had no idea what she was insinuating. So, you all good on the rolls then? How long do we play for? An hour. Though we divide it into 3 different 20-minute segments with a 5-minute break in between each segment. Good thing I channel my loneliness into good fitness. Good thing indeed. It'll be pretty tiring by the end. We arrived at the parking lot at the park. A massive open field awaited us with Lake Superior a little behind it. On the right edge of the field was a campground, and on the left edge was a gazebo with bathrooms and a drinking fountain. I would love to know something cool. I could see people assembled at both ends of the field. I spotted Wilbur and decided I'd better give Alexandra a warning. Listen, Alexandra, you see the chubby-looking dude looking like a lunatic over there? That's Warburton. He's my best friend. Normally, he's a cool guy, an absolute sweetheart, really. But, when it comes to sports, he becomes a little intense, to put it lightly. Hold on. The Fitness Grand Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The ready speed starts slowly but gets faster each time you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed every time you hear this sound. Ding! Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. On your mark, get set, start. Alexandra got off the bike apprehensively. Of course he would. Competition is serious business. We headed towards a group of people. From what I could see, everyone else was already there. There was Warburton and Terrence. Then Jenny and 2 other girls. That's Jenny? Oh, dude, no, you're fucked. Dude, like, listen, Warburton, listen. I love you, but like, yeah, she out of your league, my boy. She out of your league, my boy. Then Jenny and 2 other girls from the basketball team. Besides them, we had 2 members of the football team who would help out with the rugby game. To round it off, we had a guy who I recognized from my trigonometry class. How did that poor guy get roped into this? When you accepted his request, I'll explode from happiness. Let's go! I looked over at the other end of the field. Looks like our competition was going to be 5 football players, 2 basketball players from their girls' team, who must have been the rivals of Jenny, and 3 guys who I think were part of their cross-country team. Yeah, probably. Who knows? Oh, and thank you for the stream check-in, Turtle. I appreciate it. We were going to lose the rugby section, but maybe we had a shot at winning with the capture the flag games. Let's go! As we approached, I began to formulate a plan to introduce Alexandra to everyone, but Warburton beat me to it. Oh, excellent! You 2 are here now. He hurried over and grabbed Alexandra's hand and began shaking it. You must be Alexandra. I'm Warburton. I heard so much about you. You must allow me to thank you for coming to assist us today. Your athletic abilities will be most appreciated. Alexandra shook his hand, looking a little flustered. She nodded at him. I sighed inwardly. Alexandra didn't have much experience with others, let alone a character like Warburton. I brushed Warburton off of her. Chill out, dude. You're gonna freak her out. I turned to the group to introduce her to everyone. Hi, guys. Good to see y'all. I gestured at Alexandra. This is Alexandra. She's a friend of mine. She'll be part of our team, though this is her first time playing Uber Ball. Alexandra nodded at the group. Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you. I hope I can help our team win today. It was very reserved for Alexandra. I was getting a glimpse of what she was like in formal mode. I glanced over at Warburton, who looked like he was getting himself ready for round 2 of introductions. To avoid another Warburton-style introduction, I took matters in my own hands. You just met Warburton. The moody, taller guy behind him is Terrence. He's a friend of mine. Terrence walked over and gave me a grin that I thought looked a little evil. Nice to meet you, Alexandra. You're more normal than I thought you'd be. From what Nick has told me about you, I thought you'd be quite the weirdo. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck, man? What the hell? Oh, really? Yep, I was in trouble. I gulped. Well, at least this had to be the benefit of breaking the ice. Nothing like setting me on fire to do that. I turned to the rest of the group. You see, everyone, Alexandra's a touch sheltered. You know, religious family troubles, you get the idea. I lightly tapped Alexandra's shoulder, though she looked like she was about to murder me now, and pointed at Terrence. I'm trying to help Alexandra get acclimated with Alexandra's social etiquette, so this is a teachable moment for us all. So repeat after me, Terrence. Thou shalt not throw friends under the bus. Everyone laughed at that, and Warburton jumped in to help me out with his own misguided wingman ways. Alexandra, he had nothing but gracious sentiments to express about you. He constantly testifies to your superior intellect, charm, and grace. Rest assured, he speaks very fondly of you. He does? No, I don't. She looked at me incredulously. What do you mean you don't? Warburton looked ready to compose another impassioned speech on my behalf, but Jenny shoved him aside and introduced herself. She's the captain of the girls' basketball team and exudes a confident aura. Hi, Alexandra. Ignore these doofuses. I'm Jenny. It's good to have another girl on the team. Jenny's the type of gal to punch dudes in the face if they give her trouble in rugby. I sure am. Alexandra gave her an admiring look, and I went and introduced her to the rest of the team. Alexandra said she'd be able to remember who was who, so there wouldn't be any trouble about recognizing her teammates. I cast self-destruction. Well, now. We then had what Warburton called a strategy meeting to figure out who would be on what team. He, Jenny, both the football guys, and another basketball girl would be our rugby squad. That left me, Alexandra, Terrace, one of the basketball girls, and my trigonometry classmate on the captain of the flag squad. While the others were talking, I asked him, Hey man, how do you get roped into this? He gave me a glum look. Warburton has blackmail on me. A nat 20. Oh wait, that's not good. Bruh. He's gone. Sag. Ouch. Do I want to know? No. I didn't ask. The refs called us over. By refs, I mean 2 girls who were part of the community drama club. I guess I must have been friends with someone here. They told us we'd be starting in 5 minutes. They made Warburton and the captain of Hamatra's football team shake hands, though both looked like they'd rather eat nails. Warburton made his way back to us. I leaned in towards Alexandra. There's one thing that made me sad this morning. What happened? He's going to give a ridiculous prep speech, but we can't avoid it, so just do your best to bear it. Terrence groaned. It's going to be awful. Alexandra nodded and braced herself. Warburton cleared his throat. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming. We have gathered to defeat our enemies, our bitter rivals, the Neanderthals of Hamatra. I was going to make my name Spooky Turtle, but it said I can't change my name for 29 days. Bruh, no, that's the thing about it. That's what's fucking stupid, but it's okay. That's why I keep mine the way it is. Well, for 29 days, well... Yeah, then just wait a minute. Wait for 29 days, and then you'll be able to change it again, I guess. I don't know. He took a deep breath, cast aside reason, and entered his warlike state. Those bastards. They've been talking an insane amount of shit, and we're not going to take it. He paused for a roar of affirmation, which didn't come, but continued undeterred. Let it be known that we of Alcantra don't speak shit. We live shit. We're going to kick their asses so bad they'll want to annex Hamatra to Canada. Sure, I know it looks bad. They've got 5 football players, they got the athletes, and we have nerds plus me and the girls' basketball team. But we have what we have that they don't is heart. I don't know why, but I don't like him. Yeah, I like him, but he kind of cringe. They're not going to be able to compete with our spirit, bonds, and drive. They may think we're underdogs, but we're not just dogs. We're a fucking pack. And I'm the alpha. And a pack sticks up for one another. Now everyone get in here and let's go Alcantra on 3. Jenny and the basketball girls roared with him while Terrence and I rolled our eyes. His speech was dumber than usual today. I glanced over at Alexandra and gave a start. Oy! I was expecting her to be rolling her eyes, but her eyes were sparkling with an excited glimmer. Don't tell me she was moved by that dribble. She ran with the rest of the group, so I reluctantly headed over too. Groupthink is scary stuff. We then headed for our positions. Unsurprisingly, Hamatra had the football team for the rugby squad. Our opposition for the capture the flag section was going to be the girls on their basketball team and the cross-country guys. We had to watch out for one of the cross-country guys. One of them had qualified at state level. I evaluated our own capture the flag squad. I'm decently athletic, I'm pretty fast and quite agile. Terrence is lightning fast, but he can't change direction for shit. We had a guard from the basketball team, so hopefully she was pretty quick. Then my trig classmate looked like he was the type to get C in gym. Of all the dudes Wahlberg could blackmail to joining, he had to pick this guy. That left Alexandra, who I knew was quite athletic. You ready? She gave me a wicked smile. I sure am. Losing is for fucking losers. I think that was the first time I ever heard her swear. Of all the times over a game of Super Bowl? The refs then shouted through the megaphones they had brought with them, and the game began. Alexandra immediately took off for the other team's side. What the fuck, Alexandra? To her credit, she made it past 4 of them before she got tagged towards the end of the boundary, a little before the touchdown section. Terrence looked over at me. Good luck with her, buddy. He took off for the other side as well. I couldn't believe these idiots. I looked over at my teammates. We are so fucked. Bro, yeah. Oh yeah, you've seen the prophecy, right? I think so. I believe I've seen the prophecy. I believe so. Just Terrence, we are so fucked. Thankfully, I was able to tag Alexandra and Terrence back into the game, and my teammates were able to prevent the Hamatra side from getting our beanbag. When we were all assembled on our side again, Alexandra let me hear it. Why didn't you join me, Nick? If we all went at once, there was no way they could catch all of us. Yeah, and then we would get our beanbag, and it would just be a race. Which we wouldn't lose. You don't know that. Alexandra walked up to me and jabbed her finger in my chest. She was way more into it than I thought. To be a part of the lore, I would love to be a part of the lore. I would love to be a part of chatter lore. Listen, Nick, you can't get anything in life without taking risks. You can't find happiness without risking sadness, and you can't get the fucking beanbag without crossing to the other side. Complacency is cowardice, and I'm no coward. Which might have been a great speech if we weren't playing Uber Ball. Unfortunately, my teammates besides Terrence were deeply moved. Rolling on your roll. Alexandra and my other teammates raced towards the other side. Terrence gave me a look. Well, I'm a coward, but what they're doing seems more fun. I sighed and joined them, but we predictably lost a round. As we reset the beanbags after they scored, I looked over at the rugby game. Fortunately, the other half of our team were holding their own. Jenny was fighting off 2 would-be tacklers and making her way towards the end zone while Warburton blocked for her. We can still get in on this. We just need our side to pull its weight. The rule is very important. Yay! I pulled the team together. Okay, listen, you idiots. We can do this. We just have to be smarter. Terrence, you be a diversion, aim towards the beanbag and try to get as many people after you as possible. Alexandra, you follow afterwards and get the beanbag. I'll stay near the boundary. You two stay near the end zone. If the opportunity looks good, I'll make a break for the beanbag as well. The team nodded at me and we executed our plan. Oh, shit. No. Parents broke towards their beanbag, which thankfully got the fast cross-country guy to chase them. 2 of their team sprinted towards our beanbag as well, which left only 2 for Alexandra. She could handle 2. Go, Alexandra, we got these 2 here. She gave me a thumbs up. You can count on me. She sprinted to their side. Terrence got caught in their end zone, but the damage had been done. The 2 basketball girls couldn't keep up with Alexandra. The cross-country guy didn't notice until it was too late. Yay, I'm first to get it. Let's go. I caught one of their players, and the basketball teammate caught the other. Alexandra waltzed to our side with the beanbag. See, look what we can do when we're not being idiots. I'm a villain. Yay! I fit it. I'm evil. I'm evil, and I'm full of whimsy. That's what I am. I'm evil and I'm full of whimsy. I'm just new to this is all. The ref shouted into the megaphone. It was the time for our first break. We gathered at one of the water fountains. We were losing 11-8 right now. Damn, we suck! Main villain, let's go! That meant we were tied in the capture the flag game and losing 6-3 in rugby. Honestly, I expected a lot worse from the rugby game, so props to Jenny and Warburton. They didn't say it the same way as I did, though. Jenny, I know I can't get this through your thick superstar head, but sometimes it's okay to pass the goddamn fucking ball. And why would I pass to you losers? You cough that shit up instantly. Absolutely not, me coughing shit up. Never. Warburton turned towards us next. And you maggots, what the fuck is going on out there? Warburton started ranting at us, the content explicit enough that I will not convey it here. I looked over at Alexandra, not unsurprised now that she was passionately nodding along with Warburton. Leave it to me, Warburton. Counting on you, Alexandra. He turned to get some water, and Alexandra turned towards me and my fellow flag captors. Listen, you lot, we're not showing nearly enough heart out there. Life is a game of wanting, and you need to want it more. It's precious, and no second can be wasted. You need to run harder, dodge faster, grab that fucking beanbag better. But due to the 4 legendary heroes being sick, I become the 5th legendary hero. Yay! Let's go. Until we collapse out there, I expect 200%. We win or we die trying, maggots. She turned around in a huff. I shrugged at my rattled teammates. I didn't know where the sign of her was coming from. As for what I thought, I'll be honest, I thought it was a little hot. Wait! Oh my god! Okay, you know what? Yeah, I see it. Our team came out on fire for the second period. Alexandra and Terrence went back charging in again, but this time I followed them, was able to get the beanbag and get back to our side. I knew you had it in you, Nick. Nice job. Nice job being a distraction out there. She nodded enthusiastically at me. Sacrifices had to be made, Nick. When you lose me, you must move on and claim victory. You're such a drama queen. I thought I was a princess, but I'll take being a queen. She laughed, grabbing the beanbag from my hand and started bringing it back. Terrence saw the exchange and gave me a wink. Oh, yeah, save the gungeon. Yeah, I remember the last time I looked at it, and bitch, that shit's for Windows. I screamed. I was like, what the fuck? This is why I need to upgrade to a fucking, PC setup, dude. This is exactly why I need to look into getting, a PC or some shit, because all the shit I want to play is for fucking Windows, and it's stupid. But that's okay, I guess. I sucked my tongue at him. We weren't flirting, it was just some friendly banter to uphold our competitive spirit. We got the beanbag after the reset too. Hamatra brought nearly their whole team while Alexandra darted to their side. With Terrence playing defense, we were able to tag them all while Alexandra easily got the beanbag. We had a pretty commanding lead now. I looked over at the rugby game when Warburton trucked a poor dude to get into the end zone. He let out a terrifying victory roar. Pretty impressive stuff from the 5'4" guy. The Hamatra rugby team was leading, but we still had the overall lead. It was 20-16 now. Shortly after, the refs called for the second break. Our team gathered at the water fountain again. Deltron is also cool, but $25. Yeah, that one I got from my husband. Because he pays for some of these games for me, and I love him so much. I'm so happy, dude. I was so happy. I was like, yay! I walked up to Warburton. Pretty impressive stuff, man. Looking like Larry Sonska out there. He was covered in sweat and out of breath, but he gave me a thumbs up. That's right. I am like Larry Sonka. We're going undefeated. He pulled himself upright and roared to the heavens. I'm a dolphin, hear me roar. Okay, shut up. Don't ever say that again. I hated to break it to him, but that dolphins don't roar, but the basketball girls, the football guys, and Alexandra all cheered for him. So I kept silent. Jenny walked up to us. Oh, I'm so famous I have 3 followers. Yay! Good job. Okay, gang, great job out there. Now all we have to do is not blow it. I'll be real with y'all. Bless Waldburn for trying so hard, but he's out of shape. We'll need you guys to get one more beanbag than they do to win, since we're gonna get destroyed in this last period. I heard that, Jenny. Don't believe her lies. I'll be just fine. Jenny smiled and patted Alexandra. You're amazing out there. Counting on you. Oh, just her, huh? Terrence grunted a dissent at my comment. Jenny laughed at us. We're counting on you two, too. She winked at me. But I get the feeling she wears the pants around here. She ran off to give Walburn, who was being handed Gatorades by the other basketball girls, some support. Jenny knew me well since we used to hang out a lot as kids. I'll take her word on it. Terrence was trying to stifle a grin, but Alexandra looked at me confused. What did she mean by that? I was very grateful since she was unfamiliar with the phrase. It means your legs look nice. I left her blushing to get ready for the last segment of the game. We just needed to hang on to our lead, so I decided to hang out closer to our end zone. Number 1 through 10 for bits. I feel like an 8. I feel like an 8 for today. So we say hang on closer to our end zone. That's where I left off. But yeah, I feel like if I had to pick a number 1 through 8, 1 through 10, I feel like an 8. Unfortunately, we lost the next round because Terrence tripped on the way to the beanbag and Alexandra got caught trying to tag it back in. For bits. Damn it! That's okay. I went to tag her back in, but the other team got our beanbag before I could do that. Alexandra had a lot of stern words for me. What were you doing tagging behind me instead of getting the beanbag? You know me, I can't have my beloved friend alone in enemy territory like that. Terrence scoffed. Thanks for the rescue, buddy. You have no sense of tactics, Nick. I appreciate your sentimental drivel, but sometimes you need to listen to reason. Isn't that the opposite of the bullshit you and Walburn were spouting earlier? That was then and this is now. The tides of war changed, Nick. I know you care, but sometimes you have to let me go. Which would be good and romantic if we weren't playing fucking Euchre ball. One more chance before you guess. What? How many legendary heroes are there? Oh, 5! There's 5 of them. There's 5 of them? There's 5 of them. There's 5 of them. I know my numbers. I can count. Yeah. Let's go, dude. I know my numbers. I can count to trace 1, 5, 3. Thankfully, we were able to get the beanbag again by going all out on the offensive. That put us in the lead again. When I get bits, I'll give you some. Yay! Not for long. Jenny was right. Our rugby squad was starting to get pounded. They've been holding out well, but we were starting to get tighter. It was now 31-30 in our favor. That meant in this round we were getting pounded 9-1. I gathered the team together since we were going to need to get the beanbag one more time, and we only had a couple of minutes left. Shit, there we go. I can count to 100. 158, 29, 100. Let's go! We're also going to be getting hit with ads on Twitch in 30 seconds, but if you want to skip those ads, feel free to subscribe to the channel. That would be very poggers of you, and I will give you like 10,000 kisses if you do, so please. Alright, we can't rely on them holding the leads. We're going to have to get the beanbag to secure a win, and we're going to have to do it quickly. We only have about 20 minutes left. 2 minutes left, shit. The team nodded at me. Here's the plan. They'll play defensively because they just need us to not get the beanbag to win, presuming the rugby team pulls through for them. I'll do the first rush towards the beanbag. Alexandra, you trail a little behind me, and when they gang up on me, I'll toss the beanbag to you behind me. Terrence, you make it look like you're joining the offensive, but hang back in case the fast cross-country guy tries to take advantage of our offensive. You're the only one who can keep up with him. You two, make a rush for it if you can get opportunity, or hold them off long enough for us to get the beanbag packed. Sounds good? You're trying to show off, but it's a good plan. Shut up, Terrence. Alexandra and I got ready at the edge of our boundary. It saddened me to think that she had never been able to do things like this before. Who knows what she could have done? How wonderful her life could have been had she been allowed to live the life she deserved. I looked over at her. Yay! Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. You ready? She gave me a determined nod. Sure am. I sprinted towards their beanbag. I saw the cross-country kid take off towards our side, and Terrence went to tail him. Okay, good, our diversion worked. Terrence would have hopefully been able to stop him from getting our beanbag. Hi, I'm new. Hi, Turtle. Hi, new. I'm Dad. Definitely, yeah. Hi, new. I'm Dad. It was now up to Alexandra and I. I started getting pursued by a pair of basketball girls, so I took a course to the right, but before going in a bit of a parabola towards the beanbag. I can read. For this to work, I needed to round the corner with the beanbag. I was going to have to rely on Alexandra putting herself in a good position for me to throw the beanbag back to her. In fact, while we're on ads, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go pee and shit. I will be right back. Hi, chat. I'm back. I got coffee. And I got some food. It's cooking in the air fryer at the moment, so I'll be going over to get food later. Yes, hi, Turtle. Welcome to stream. God, okay, so Turtle Killer did Happy Turtle. Hello. This is great. Oh, I don't... It's just silly. This is silly. Let's go, dude. For this to work, I need to round the corner with the beanbag. I was going to have to rely on Alexandra putting herself in a good position for me to throw the beanbag to her. The girls were right on my tail, but I managed to turn the corner on them. I grabbed the beanbag and made my way... There we go, that made my way towards our side. Dang, I thought you would have figured it out. Truth be told, I have a keen brain and a massive penis, so it was going... Oh, hi Cream, I've been in meetings all afternoon, so I haven't been able to tune in. I see you're full of whimsy. I am full of whimsy! I'm full of charm and whimsy, and I've been having so much fun. Have a follow. Thank you. I'm very full of whimsy, and I am a magical creature. Yay, another follow. I'm full of whimsy, and I'm a magical creature, and I've been having fun. I also need to grab my charter right now. Give me a minute. Again. Fuck. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just so full of whimsy. I am full of whimsy, and I'm a bit of a magical creature, if you ask me. Yeah. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. I wonder if Mrs. Neutron's mom would like me because I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm assuming you asked this since most people do, but Super Ball is not a real game. I figured as such, but considering we are full of joy and whimsy today, I'm going to gaslight myself into thinking that it is a real game. We are full of whimsy today, so I am gaslight, gatekeep, girl bossing myself into believing that yes, this is a real game. It is in the history books, but we conveniently left it out because it sounds like such a stupid fucking game that there's no way it exists. Because it didn't. No, because it does, and we refuse to believe that it does. That's that's the lore we're going with, okay? Uper is a term for the resident of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan? Huh. And now we have fucking Yoshikage Kira. I love that man. Oh. Okay. The girls were on my tail, but I managed to turn the corner on them. I grabbed the beanbag and made my way towards our side. I didn't have the angle I was going to need to make it to our boundary, since one of Alexandra's pursuers made to get me. But that was the plan. I looked behind me and saw Alexandra trailing behind me going towards the left. Good. She'd only have one defender to beat. I stopped in my tracks and hurled the beanbag at her. Go, Alexandra! I got knocked over by the three people chasing me, but I had done my job. She caught it and raced around the girl who was pursuing her. We were going to win, or so I thought. I saw the fast cross-country guy racing back to the side. He must have figured out our plan. Alexandra was fast, but there was no way she was going to beat him to the boundary. She'd have to get around him somehow. They approached each other at top speed. She made to go to her left and his right and sprinted that way. he reached to tag her, and then she stomped her foot in the ground and changed direction to the right. The dude that tried to change direction with her but couldn't fell over. I felt sorry for the dude. He got crossed up so bad he might have to retire from cross country. I was so almost proud of Alexandra, but then she started showboating by skipping across the boundary line. Moments later, the ref shouted at the end of the game. We ended up winning 36-32. You could probably have heard Warburton's triumphant war from Wisconsin. Do you love axolotls? I do love axolotls. I think they are very cute. I think they're very cute and whimsical, and they're full of whimsy and their joy. Fun fact, chat. I thought about having an axolotl as a pet for a while. I never did do it. I think mostly because those bitches are really expensive to take care of. But I did really like axolotls enough to like want to keep one. I still like them. They're very whimsical. Thank you for the daily honey. But like, would I still want to have one as a pet now? Probably. I would just need to find actual space in my room to put it in, considering that my room is kind of... Thank you for the follow. I appreciate Axolotl Lover. Thank you. Considering the space of my room right now, because of my big ass bed and this big ass dresser, like I would need to like really find a space for it, but I would love to have one. That or a parakeet. I think I would really like to have like a... Okay. Oh my god. Please, baby. Baby shit and come. Man, I should really... I'm actually thinking of kind of changing that one to where it's like... we have it to like, you guys can give me a phrase to say, and then, and then I go and do it a Carl Weezer's voice, but, I just think it would be really fucking funny if we did that, yeah. I might make it like a poll in my Discord server if you guys would ever like to fucking, if you guys would ever like to actually figure that out as well. Oh my god, we have 270 followers again, yippee! We're now on our way to 280, chat. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's fucking go, gamers, yeah. Where was I? Excuse me. Oh, yeah. That's where it was. You could probably have heard Walt Burton's triumphant war from Wisconsin. The rest of the team rushed to congratulate Alexandra. As for me, well, I would have joined them, but I had eaten dirt when I got knocked over and tossing her the beanbag. I figured I'd let her enjoy her spotlight while I enjoyed my spot in the grass. What do you usually stream? Great question. So, I usually stream a lot of gaming content. As far as like what kinds of games, it's just whatever I feel like. That's typically the way I do shit. It's very like casual focus. Like, if I want to play Hades, I'll play Hades. But if I change my mind and want to play fucking, I don't know, Big Titty Simulator 1985, I'll play Big Titty Simulator 1985. This week we have a couple of good games planned. I'm kind of excited for it. So we have, I did want to try doing Hades again, so we're gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna bring you guys with me because my setup is very mobile. So we're gonna bring you guys with me while I go check on my food. So we're gonna try doing Hades again. I do want to try to get a little bit farther on that this time. I did see, I try not to spoil myself too much. I did see like one of those speed runs, but like for, what's it? I think it's just like fresh file speed run. I love that picture in the corner. Thank you. I'm so full of whimsy. He's so me. I really am just a silly, whimsical creature full of fun and joy is the mood for today. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So we're playing Hades tomorrow. Tomorrow or Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. I need to check my schedule again, but it's Wednesday. Then Toem, which is a photo, it's very photography focused, so that one's gonna be on Thursday. And then Friday, you're gonna have to get ready for Friday because Friday we have a little something planned for Friday. Not only am I gonna do a punishment wheel, for that, stream, but we're also gonna have a brand new model reveal. So we're gonna be doing those promotions this coming week. So if you want to be there for when I reveal that, you know, keep up with me. I always post on all my like main socials or like right above my big ass head on stream. So if you want to keep up with me, there's all that there. But I also have a Discord. I think I linked it in my about me. My favorite animal list: turtles, axolotl, shark. I love sharks, dude. I want to pet one. Okay. Fuck this whole swimming with dolphins shit. I want to fucking pet a shark. Okay. I want to go scuba diving at some point and encounter a shark and just pet its little nose. Like I want to pet it, like, you know how like we like pet our dogs where it's just like two hands and we're just like like that's how I want to pet it. I want to pet it like that. I want to hold it. I feel like turtles are always happy. I feel like they always are. I feel like turtles are always sometimes happy, but it's like you can't tell because of their face, but I feel like they always like smiling and full of whimsy. Guys, I just had the greatest fucking idea for this stream. I feel like I'm gonna end up changing this photo every stream. So you're gonna have to fucking figure it. Oh, that's so good. Okay. We're gonna keep going with the game, but like, yeah, no, I will like check in on chat now and again. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. But yeah, you know. Again, you like the shit I put out? Feel free to follow my socials and, you know, enjoy me being cringe, because that's the main prerogative, is just me being a cringe-ass nene baby. I figured I'd let her enjoy her spotlight while I enjoyed my spot in the grass. I was happy about her victory, but I was really happy about that it was Alexandra who won it for us. Oh, Vaughn! Ah! Ah, fuck! I love that man. I'm sorry. I apologize that was a little much for people who are seeing me for the first time. I apologize that I went to the beach and saw a happy turtle. I want to pet a turtle too, dude. I want to pet a fucking turtle. I want to hold it and fucking damn. I don't know. Fuck. There's a lot of shit I want to do. Alexandra got mauled by the team, but she quickly pulled away and headed over towards me. Uh-oh. I guess the princess had decided I wasn't excited enough about her victory and had come to scold me. Alexandra walked up to me, a smile on her face. She was covered in sweat and obviously very tired, but there was a joyful bounce to her step. She bent towards me, brushed her hair behind her ear, and extended her hand. You know, we make a pretty good team out there, you and I. You and I? Huh? There was something to that phrase I liked. Smiling, I shook her hand. The Alcantra team decided to live large after our big victory and go to Dairy Queen to celebrate. I have not been to a Dairy Queen in fucking years. Can I just say that? Like I'm saying the happiest of turtles. He probably was very happy. He was full of joy and whimsy, and you know, his life was sparking joy for him that day, most likely, and you got a glimpse of it, and that is very cute. That's just as that's the running theory I have. But also, like, yeah, no, I have not been to a Dairy Queen in a fucking hot minute. The only thing I really know about Dairy Queen, chat, is the fact that they have those blizzards. You know, like where you fucking, you have the ice cream, you flip it upside down, it doesn't, like, fall out of the cup. Like, I want that, but I want one with fucking, what's it? I would like either A, an Oreo one, or B, one with Trix. Not Trix? Is that the? No. Twix. Twix, that's what it meant. I want one with, like, fucking Twix in it. Like, I want little Twix bits, like, in the exact Dairy Queen has lots of memories from the author and I. We used to go here after cross-country practice. Aww. Okay, that's cute. That's really cute and sweet. Oh my god, I almost dropped... Chad, I almost dropped my food! What the fuck? The exact Dairy Queen has lots of memories from... Yeah, that's really cute, Akira, dude. I almost dropped my fucking food. Holy shit. what was I saying? Oh yeah, like, this shit just be so full of whimsy, bro. Trust. Like, this shit just be so full of whimsy and charmingness. And, like, I would like to go to a Dairy Queen again. I just wish there was one that had fuck-ass, that has fuck-ass, Twix in it. You know, I would love that. I want it broken up into little bits. And then fucking, that turtle looked like he just became a god. Yeah, he probably did. You know what? He probably did. He probably did become a god, and he was probably very happy about it. You know? Who knows? Who knows what could have happened with that one? Because of how happy he was. I see. that's just I see. I see. That's the thing for today. Right. Wait, why did that remind me of that fucking meme? Hold on. Let me see. Where is it? Yes, this one. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I'm pulling up the image right now. The 4 horsemen of Icy. Mind you, okay. I know the context of the JoJo one. I don't know the context of the. I'm assuming that's Hinata. I think I kind of remember the Hunter x Hunter one, and I know the Gojo one because that was just funny. But like, okay, I'll say it like this. As far as JoJo's, me and my husband got to, I want to say it was, we're close to the end of, I believe it's part, was it 5? No, it couldn't have been 5. Maybe. I don't remember. We got pretty to like mid part in that. I can't anymore. Oh no. What did you do? Turtle got happy. Yay! Let's go, dude. I'm actually gonna keep this image up. This is funny. Well, you know what? We're going back to Joy and Whimsy. We'll save this one for another stream, but for this, we are full of Joy and Whimsy. There we go. I'm gonna do it like that. There we go. Okay. Oh, I think that's why I was kind of like, I see. Because I was like, oh yeah, no, that clicked, dude. Yeah, that clicked. I was like, oh, I see. Chad, I swear to God, I'm not a dumb fuck. I know this shit. Oh, it's posture check. Okay, hold on. Oh my God, I need to fix my posture though, dude. I really do, because apparently I used to have really good posture when I was younger, not anymore. I need to fix that, but I also just need to, okay, maybe this will fix it. Like, I have my chair pushed in. No, you did. You did have an Oscar-worthy performance. I probably should get like a better gaming chair. So I have my chair pushed in. It might help make my posture better. We'll see. Honestly. The Alcantra team decided to live large after a big victory and go to Dairy Queen to celebrate. It was getting late and the sun was starting to set, so Alexandra and I joined the carpools and Warburton threw my bike into the back of his car. When we got to the Dairy Queen, Warburton boldly declared that all the ice cream was on him. Alexandra whispered to me, "Maybe I should suggest paying? I'm rich after all." Probably not a good idea. We wouldn't want to invite questions. Time to go back to my real account. Sounds good. Yeah, but can Warburton really afford this? Probably not, but he deserves this. Alexandra whacked me on the arm. Okay, I'll try to convince Warburton that we can all split the bill. I managed to convince Walburn that we could all split the bill, and we ended up raiding the outdoor tables with a copious number of blizzards. I took a seat at the end of one of the tables with a couple of football players who were talking amongst themselves. Everyone else was at the other table. Walburn was giving dramatic reenactments, and everyone was chiming in and laughing. Alexandra was a big hit with the group. Earlier, Jenny and Walburn had tried to recruit her to the basketball team. Alexandra, we could really use you on the basketball team. Our previous point guard just graduated. Have you ever played basketball? Nope. No matter, I'm an excellent coach. We can't let talent like yours waste away. Alexandra just laughed and tried to play it off. Look at how far you've come, Alexandra. It was only a month ago when we met under the lights that illuminated the summer festival and a display of fireworks bridged a gap between us. I was glad that the Alexandra who could laugh and joke with others existed now. Okay, I'm back. Hello, Turtle. Welcome back. I was glad that the Alexandra who could laugh and joke with others existed now. It was what I had always wanted for her. This was the life she should have gotten to live, and maybe now it could be reality for her. Her journey was just getting started. As happy as I was, there was a part of me that was a little sad as well. There was an Alexandra who might be gone from the world. A previous Alexandra only I knew. The mysterious, guarded, and weird Alexandra. The girl who needed to use a murder as an excuse to make a friend. The girl who bravely told a boy her secret. Only I would know that Alexandra. The current Alexandra would be known to others, and that was for the best. But eventually, when the world opened up for her, she might fly away from me. I smiled to myself. How did I end up getting sentimental and eating Dairy Queen? Caught up in my feelings, I didn't notice Walburn and Terrence moved to the table I was sitting at. That's proof I love puzzles because I make people put pieces together. Exactly. Exactly. That's all it is. Alexandra was still chatting with Jenny and the other basketball girls. The football players on my table were talking about all the great blocks and tackles they made during the game. I let them be and addressed my friends. What's up, guys? Oh, we just stopped by to give you a hard time. You missing Alexandra? I decided it wasn't worth trying to deny it. Yeah, a little. They both laughed, though it was a good-natured laugh. Guess you're feeling a little left out then. Sorry, bruh. Love it. Sorry about that. Nah, don't worry about it. I'm just being sentimental over here. You all should get to know her. Walburn nodded enthusiastically. Did it move? It did move. Hold on. Yeah, this one moved. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Okay. That's better. That's better. It's unlike you to meet someone so cool, Nick. Yeah, look who I've got for best friends. No doubt about it. She's too good for our gang. Terrence clapped me on the back. We'll let her know you're lonely over here. See if we can't pry her away from Jenny's recruiting. Sure, you go do that. Walburn and Terrence walked back to their table where Jenny was enthusiastically talking to Alexandra about something. I went back to eating my ice cream. About 10 minutes later, while I was staring into the bottom of my now empty blizzard cup, Alexandra tapped me on the shoulder. You are full of the whimsy. I am indeed full of the whimsy. So I hear you're pretty lonely without me. Damn, they really told her that. Way to be fucking slick, assholes. Way to be slick about it. You're scaring away the huzz. What is wrong with you? Wait. Okay, because I know my husband is watching. Baby, does that make me your... Does that make you my huzz? Hey, huzz. Hey, huzz. You want to go to prom with me? Fuck it. That's what I'm texting you right now. That's gonna be the greatest ever. Just hey, huzz. Oh my god, it's great. Yep, sure am. What would I ever do without you around? She smiled at me. No need for sarcasm. I feel bad you're being kind of left out. Don't feel bad. I talk to those folk all the time. Plus, I want them to get to know you. That's very sweet of you. She tossed her blizzard cup into the trash behind me. Your friends have been very nice to me, though. Though Walburn and Jenny could be a bit much. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you're not interested in being a basketball star. I'll settle for my capture the flag victory. She sat down next to me. I took a look at the other table. They were all talking about something, but I caught a few glances our way. You know, they're probably gossiping about us. You're probably not used to that. And what would they be gossiping about?
You know, you and me. She played dumb. What about you and me? I fell into that one. She and I both knew there was something between us. Okay, I gotta go. One last meeting for the day. Enjoy. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Man, this is why I love. I didn't scroll past you when finding streams to make me last almost every second. Let's go! Yippee! I'm funny. Hold on, I'm texting my husband right now about this. God, I love that man. She and I both knew there was something between us, but I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of admitting anything here. Still, it was too late for me to just completely deny everything. Oh shit. And I'm your huzz. Yeah, there he is, guys. My huzz. Fucking wait. Hey, huzz, you coming to the winter formal with me? Hey, huzz, we're going to that winter formal? Listen, Alexandra, you're unfamiliar with the nastiness of the teenage social world. Oh, shit. What do you mean, bruh? You know you're my huzz, and you're coming with me. I feel like that fucking, that Family Guy meme where Peter's a pimp. What the fuck? Hold on. Where is... Well, I'm a go, but I will return. My phone's almost dead. Well, thank you for stopping by, Turtle. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me see. What was it? Peter Griffin. Yeah, yeah, this shit, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, that shit. Can I show this? I probably can't, but oh my god, yeah, that one. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I might show it in like a TikTok clip for context, but like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, we must continue. They'll probably think we're a couple and are gossiping about us now. Probably. There are lots of things to gossip regarding us. And what would those things be? Oh, how great we work together and capture the flag, for example. I distinctly recall you doing a lot of yelling at me. That's just how I show my love. You could show your love in nicer ways. I'll keep that in mind. I was very aware that the football guys had stopped talking, making me feel a little self-conscious. Alexandra patted me on the arm, the sort of casual touch that could mean nothing or everything. Well, I'll go back to the other table now. Are we still on for hanging out at your place sometime? I'd still like to meet your parents. Sure, as long as it'll give my mom any crazy ideas. Day after tomorrow okay then? Sounds good. She gave me a smile and headed back to the other table. I did my best to ignore the football guys giving me knowing looks. Everyone else finished up their ice cream and we all went our separate ways back to our homes. When I got home, I took a shower, listened to some music, and then laid my head down on my pillow staring at the ceiling. Alexandra wasn't the first girl in my life, but with her, it was different. It's cliché, but it was true. I'm not stupid, I knew what the feeling was. The pride watching her changed over this past month, the sadness at the idea of her extending her wings and flying away from me, remembering every moment with her from fireworks to Dairy Queen, staying awake at night thinking of her, keeping her secrets and being glad that I knew something that others didn't. The realization that I wanted her to always be a part of my life. It's more than just being interested in her. It's not just liking her. This feeling, I know it's love. There's no point in denying it. I'm in love with you, Alexandra. I love your smile. I love your laugh. I love the way you tease me. And even if your smiles, your laughs, and your teases were for someone else, I'd love them all the same. With Charlotte and Jennifer, too much of it was about me and how I felt. But with you, Alexandra, it's not like that. I want you to be happy. I'm the first person in your new life, but once you spread your wings and take flight, who knows where you could go? You shouldn't chain yourself to be with me. You're too smart for me. You're too witty for me. You're too pretty for me. Because I love you, if your wings take you away from me, I'll be happy if you are. Even so, when you get to experience the world as you should have been able to before, I hope that you'll still choose me. Even knowing that you deserve better than me, I still choose to hope. I guess that's what it means to be in love. You see, Alexandra, love isn't all joy. It isn't just eating pancakes at the bar, solving murder mysteries, sunsets at cliffs, and playing ball. Being in love means risking sorrow. Maybe your family sends you away. Maybe they give you your freedom for good and you fall in love with somebody else. If something like that happened, the me as I am now, the one in love with you, might not be able to handle the heartbreak. Even still, I want these feelings. I want the chance to be with you, and I want the chance for you to break my heart. That's what it means to be in love. For all the joys of love, you have to accept the sorrows, and you're worth it to me, Alexandra. Such strong feelings like this, they're new to me. No one has made me feel like this before. I might be your first friend. Maybe you'll be your first boyfriend. But Alexandra, you're one of my first too. You're my first love. Aw, that's cute. I turned over and closed my eyes, thinking of her. Yay! Okay, now that we're kind of going into a new section, this is where I'm going to save. And we're going to transition to my chatting screen. Okay, we are going to find somebody to raid. Who are we raiding today? Let me see. Let's go raid Paishan. So it looks like Paishan is... Looks like they're doing a just chatting stream. Oh, okay. Some toxic yaoi involving Elden Ring. I love that. I love toxic yaoi. Okay, so this is gonna be our raid message. Let me go put that in real quick. And then we're doing... And then these are our emotes. Feel free to use them in the raid message itself, or you can just copy and paste the regular text. That's okay too. But thank you guys so much for coming into stream. We'll see if I end up streaming tomorrow. I know I said on my schedule that I wasn't, but if I end up doing so, the first place you'll hear about it is my Blue Sky, so be sure to follow me on there. All my main socials are to the right of my character. Let me see, what else? Look forward to more silly promotions this week and more content from me. And hopefully I will see you guys later. Let's start the raid. Bye guys, be respectful, be nice, all that good stuff. And also stay hydrated. Bye chat, bye.